Pigs in the first of a 4-game series. The Clippers are coming off of losing 3 out of 4 in Charlotte, finishing up a 4-4 road trip, and now tonight they'll try to get back on the winning track in front of the faithful crowd here in downtown Columbus. Alongside Eric Welch, I'm Scott Leo. We're glad you're with us for Clippers baseball here on Sports Time Ohio. And Eric, one thing has not changed with this club. It is a team led by its offense.
Well, it certainly is, and led by Carlos Santana, obviously, swinging the bat well. He's in the top 10 in the International League in hitting and in the top 5 in runs batted in and home runs as well.
Santana can do a little bit of everything for this team. We saw him steal a base the other day, so he doesn't even know he's a catcher, I think, because he can really bring a lot of tools to the table.
Well, he's definitely a leader, and he's going to do what it takes to help this ball club win.
Also, you look at some of the changes that have been made here recently. 3 key cogs going to Cleveland. You start at the top of the order. Trevor Crow goes up to the big leagues. Jason Donald making his major league debut here recently. And Shelley Duncan becomes part of the 6th father-son combo in Cleveland Indians history. Those were 3 guys that were a big reason why the Clippers were a first-place club. Now they have to figure out how to stay in first place without those 3.
Well, they certainly do, and it's Mike Sarbaugh, the manager, and the coaching staff's job to get a team on the field every game, and they're going to do that. There's a team out there right now, and we're going to see them play.
Nick Weglars comes up from AA Akron. He's one of the top prospects. He's here to hit home runs.
Yeah, he certainly is. He is definitely going to have his ticket to the big league punched when he swings the bat, and that's what he's going to try to do starting tonight.
This is a veteran Lehigh Valley team that Josh Tomlin will face, and Tomlin is possibly the biggest surprise in all of AAA baseball. He did not make the Clippers starting rotation at season's beginning. He was pitching out of the bullpen, but he got into the rotation when Scott Lewis went on the DL. Lewis has since been released, and Tomlin is 5-1 and has been the best Clippers starter yet.
Well, he certainly has, and he ranks in the top 10 in the International League in wins and in earned run average. He's a guy who's not going to make a lot of pitches. He's going to pitch to contact, doesn't walk a lot of hitters, doesn't strike out a lot of hitters either. He's going to be around the zone.
Should be a lot of fun tonight. I'm ready. Are you?
Oh, I'm ready. Let's get after it.
Let's get ready for some Columbus Clippers baseball here at Huntington Park, opening game of this 8-game homestand. Columbus Clippers baseball starts right now. Of the year between these clubs. Columbus and Lehigh Valley ready to do battle from here at Huntington Park. The Clippers are taking to the field. Columbus enters play tonight leading the International League West Division, carrying a mark of 28-19, currently a 1.5 lead over Toledo. Lehigh Valley 18-27, 9.5 out, 5th place out of 6 teams in the IL North Division. Josh Tomlin ready to get the baseball yet again. Tomlin has been outstanding for the Clippers, and he will face a Lehigh Valley club that is full of veterans and guys that know how to hit.
They certainly do, Scott. One of the things that you see in a veteran is he's going to try to work the count, try to get Tomlin into hitters counts. But Tomlin, as we mentioned in the opening, Scott, he's going to be all around the plate, working on pitch into contact, getting hitters to hit early in the count, and getting his outs that way.
For Lehigh Valley, managed by Dave Huppert, the Philadelphia Phillies AAA club, Chris Duffy is going to lead off and play in left field. The two-hitter will be the center fielder, Rich Thompson. There you see Tomlin's numbers, 5-1 with a 2.11 ERA, 27 strikeouts compared to just 9 walks on the year. And Tomlin, in his last start against Gwinnett, went 7 innings, allowing just a single hit, striking out 5 and walking 2. 7 shutout innings for Tomlin. It'll be Duffy in left, Thompson in center. John Mayberry bats third, and he'll play right for the Iron Pigs. The cleanup hitter is the DH Andy Tracy, and Cody Ransom will be the third baseman batting at fifth. Hitting sixth at second is Luis Mazza. Neil Sellers will bat seventh at first base. Hitting eighth and catching is Paul Hoover, and the 9-hitter is the shortstop, Brian Bocock. Here's the first pitch, and that'll be taken for a ball. We are underway right on schedule, 6:35 tonight here at Huntington Park. It has been a hot one here in the capital city of the Buckeye State as Tomlin battles right back to get a strike against Duffy to even the count at 1-1. Chris Duffy batting .253, 3 homers, 22 runs batted in. As Tomlin, the right-hander from Tyler, Texas, gets his night started. Here comes the 2-1 pitch, and that'll be up and away, and it's a 3-1 count.
One of the things we're going to see here from Tomlin is he's not going to give in and throw in a hitter's count like 3-1 here. He's not going to throw fastballs all the time. He may mix in some changeups, especially the lefties.
There's ball 4, so Tomlin walks the leadoff man. Something we have not seen very much out of Josh, just 5 walks over his first 6 starts with the Clippers. He went into the starting rotation on the 18th of April because the Clippers had a rainout. So that meant a doubleheader was coming, and he was essentially the 6th starter, if you will, on the depth chart. So he went in as a spot starter, pitched 3 scoreless innings, looked very cool, calm, and collected. Coming up from Double-A, where he last year won 14 games as a starter. And then from there went into the rotation when Scott Lewis was on the DL. And Tomlin did a bang-up job starting with his April 28th start against Charlotte. Got the win there. He has won 4 of his last 5 starts. The only non-win was a no decision against Syracuse, and he only allowed 1 run in that game over 5 2/3. A throw over to first, Duffy back in.
Now, Scott, you hear it at all different levels. When a player is not getting to start, sitting the bench, or coming out of the bullpen, you keep hearing you have to be ready when you get your opportunity, and Josh Tomlin certainly has done that this year.
Here's a strike to Rich Thompson. It'll be an 0-2 count to the Lehigh Valley center fielder. Thompson batting .304, no home runs. He has driven in 9 with Dave Huppert's AAA Phillies, if you will. Here comes the 0-2 pitch to the lefty batter, and that'll just miss, not by much.
You can hear the fans wanting that pitch for a strike. Just missed.
For Rich Thompson, 39 games played, a .357 on-base percentage. One of a few lefties that will be in this lineup to face Tomlin tonight. A step and a throw over to first to Hodges, and diving back in is Duffy. For what it's worth, Chris Duffy on the season has 4 stolen bases. He's been caught once over 38 games. He is 3rd on the team behind Rich Thompson and John Mayberry. This is a Lehigh Valley club that has stolen 32 bases. Compare that to 37 for the Clippers. Neither one of these teams steal very many bags. Here's a pitch that misses off the inside corner. 2-2 the count.
Yeah, usually you'll see these two teams go in various situations. They may hit and run early in a count, or when it gets to 2-2 or 3-2, we have a 2-2 count here. You may see Duffy off and running with this pitch.
With the 2-strike count to the batter, here's the set by Tomlin and the pitch. And he misses inside. Now the count is full. You look at the stolen base numbers around the International League so far, Eric, and the team that has just been very impressive swiping bags is the club down in Durham. 59 stolen bases on the season. You have 3 teams in the 50s, but both of these teams are in that 30 to 40 range as Tomlin misses again with ball 4 and walks Rich Thompson. So a couple of walks to start the game. Now, in Josh Tomlin's last start, he walked a couple of batters early, and we were on the radio broadcast that night wondering if maybe he just didn't have his stuff, but he bounced back to get out of the inning without allowing a run, and then he really fell into a groove and pretty much cruised for 6 innings after that.
Yeah, he certainly did. You know, Scott, that's just his 10th and 11th walk on the season. 38 and a third innings, so that is unusual for him. But as you mentioned, his last outing walked 2 and he was able to get out of it. He's looking to get a ground ball double play here. That would certainly get him on a start to get out of it. 2
on base and nobody out, just underway from here at Huntington Park. Scott Leo and Eric Welch with you. Clippers baseball here on Sports Time Ohio, and we are glad you're with us no matter where that is tonight. Great night for baseball, a hot day at the park, but temperatures dropped a little bit. The wind actually picked up within the last hour, creating a comfortable breeze. Swing and a miss here. Tomlin getting Mayberry to chase, make it a 1-1 count to the right-handed batting John Mayberry, getting the start in right field for the Iron Pigs tonight. Mayberry has a big strike zone because he stands every bit of the listed 6'6".
He is a big man in the batter's box.
The 1-1. There's a swing and a pop foul back over the backstop, and that will end up on the roof, make it 1-2.
That looked like a curveball from Tomlin there, and you can see he got Mayberry off balance. Mayberry was way out in front of that and actually did himself lucky just to be able to foul it back.
Let's see if Tomlin now can finish the job. He had a couple of strikes on Thompson a moment ago and let him off the hook. Once again, the set by the right-hander. A check of the runner at second base, and the 1-2 fouled back. Again, onto the roof here at the ballpark.
Right over top of our heads there. Remember, I'll try to make a play for you, Scott. I'll help you out whenever you need it.
Trust me, I am counting on it. It is all up to you if a foul ball comes into the broadcast booth. I'll be hiding under the table. The set again by the right-hander. And the 1-2. Can't get the called strike there.
That's a good location there. Fastball about 2-3 inches outside. That was by design, being so far ahead in the count. Now look to see if Tomlin comes back with a slider right off the edge of the plate.
Here comes the 2-2 pitch. And it's a fly ball hit pretty well towards center field. And Michael Brantley will flag it down right at the edge of the warning track. So tagging and advancing to third is Duffy. So Mayberry gave it a ride, but Brantley's able to run it down for the first out.
Well, he got that ball up in the strike zone, and Tomlin's thinking to himself, I got away with one there. As you see, this pitch is up a little bit, and Mayberry not able to turn on it because it is away. Tomlin got lucky with that, and you see out there in center field, Michael Brantley covers a lot of territory. He just glided back to that ball, was able to make the catch. The good thing was he got the ball back into second base and held Rich Thompson at first, so now they still have an opportunity for a double play.
Yeah, the double play is in order, which means still a chance for Tomlin to get that needed ground ball and get out of the inning. Here's Andy Tracy, the designated hitter. Looks at a first pitch ball low. Andy Tracy, a resident of Columbus. He is originally from Bowling Green, played college ball, suited up for the football team as well at BGSU. Here's the set. Tomlin's 1-0, and Tracy will look at a strike. The pride of Wood County, Ohio, Andy Tracy here with a chance to put Lehigh Valley on the board first.
And of course, he's able to sleep in his own bed during this series. Both teams had off days yesterday. As a matter of fact, the whole International League was off yesterday. So Tracy, I'm sure, was able to get into town and visit some of the old haunts.
Josh Tomlin trying to get through this first inning without allowing any damage. He is really pitching well. 19th round draft pick from 2006. Has a fastball, a splitter, a curveball, and a changeup. He's gone as deep as 7 innings. That was in his last start. Threw 96 pitches 2 starts ago over 6 frames. That's a season high in that regard. But he is not a stranger to the starting role. He is here in Columbus, or was until Scott Lewis went on the DL and he got an opportunity. But Tomlin last year was a 14-game winner in Double-A. 14 wins in the minor leagues is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's pretty good performance. He had 26 appearances last year, 25 of those starts. That's a check swing on a ball in the dirt. We're going to check. No.
3 balls and a strike now, the count to Tracy. And as far as Josh Tomlin goes, he doesn't have the best stuff. He doesn't bring the tools that, say, a Carlos Carrasco brings to the table, but boy, does he know how to pitch.
Yeah, he certainly does, and that is what is going to separate a AAA pitcher from a big league pitcher and help him take that extra step. That's what he's down here refining as you see him throwing over. He's smart enough to know that Thompson over there at first base is 9 of 10 in stolen bases, so he's got to keep him close if he wants this double play in order.
He is the team leader in stolen bases. Rich Thompson getting his lead. A very conservative lead right now as Tomlin just eyeballs the sign from Santana. Now he's ready. 3-1 pitch. Called strike. Good pitch there by Tomlin to run the count full.
That's a fastball on the inside part of the plate. I'm really surprised that Tracy wasn't looking for that and hitting that. He may have been guessing up at the plate, but you take a veteran hitter like him and he sees that fastball, he's got to be turning on that. Tomlin able to sneak it by him.
Tomlin again ready, and here comes a 3-2 pitch to Andy Tracy, and he ropes it into right field, a base hit that will put the Iron Pigs ahead first. RBI single Andy Tracy. It'll score Duffy. And for Andy Tracy, you can mark that down as his 12th ribby of the season. He's been off to a very slow start, batting just .213 thus far, but he typically will heat up as the weather does. And he puts Lehigh Valley ahead 1-0, and here comes Cody Ransom for the first time tonight.
Well, Tomlin tried to sneak a 2-strike breaking ball on the inner half of the plate after throwing that 3-1 fastball that Tracy looked at, and Tracy was ready for anything inside and drove that ball on the line.
Santana running through the signs behind the plate. Tomlin ready. Here's the first pitch for Ransom, and the right-handed hitting third baseman chops it to short. Can they get 2? Bixler on to Rodriguez, over to Hodges to try and retire the side, but hustling down the line, Ransom is able to beat that relay throw and extend the inning. So Luis Mazza is coming up with 2 down. Here we get another look at it.
Good play by Bixler going in the hole there, and he makes an accurate throw to the second baseman, Josh Rodriguez, and Rodriguez actually makes a good turn and a good throw and stretch over there by Wes Hodges. You see him there, but they were unable to turn the double play. That's what Tomlin was looking for earlier to get out of this. Now he's back to first and third, Scott.
He walked the first 2 batters he faced, and then the cleanup man, Andy Tracy, delivered an RBI single to right. Now they're on the corners with 2 down, and Luis Mazza looks at a first pitch strike. The Lehigh Valley second baseman batting .234, no homers, 8 runs batted in. Mazza will be followed by Neil Sellers if he reaches base. Got a light breeze blowing out towards right field as we get this game underway tonight. Here's a pitch that just misses, trying to catch the inside edge against the righty batter. 1-1. Some folks enjoying the game from out on the lawn area in left center field. Say hello, folks.
There you go. You see just a little bit of an overcast sky here. We had blue skies all day and clouded up just a little bit, but no threat of rain. We're good.
Well, the forecast looks pretty promising for the Memorial Day weekend. Some big things planned here at Huntington Park. These teams will do battle not just tonight, but over the next 3 days. And then the Louisville Bats will be here. So the Cincinnati Reds AAA club comes in. And that series is highlighted by a Memorial Day scheduled doubleheader.
How about that? You don't see that too often in organized ball anymore.
Here's a foul ball on Mazza's bat, and then off of Carlos Santana, and he is in some pain.
That's not good, Scott. Let's see on the replay where that got him. If it got him on the shoulder. Notice there, Scott. Now, remember the old days back when we played, the catchers didn't have that extra flap over top the shoulder. And here we get a good look at it. See, that was a
off the right knee. Yep.
That's good. Got some protection there. He looks like he's okay, and obviously it's going to take a little more than that to shake up Carlos Santana.
Well, Carlos knows all about taking a baseball off the knee, because over in Indianapolis earlier this year, while he was batting, he fouled one off his knee and had to be removed from the ball game. Missed a couple days after that, but then was able to get back in the lineup and has really picked up where he left off offensively. I guess the nice thing about this scenario, he had the pads on.
The tools of ignorance, although that doesn't apply anymore these days, Scott.
Here's the 2-2. Pitch taken upstairs. Full count now to Mazza. 2 on base, 2 down here in the top of the first. The Iron Pigs getting an early 1-0 lead. This is the 5th meeting of the season between these clubs. They played 4 in Allentown, PA at the beginning of May, and the Clippers won 3 out of the 4 in very impressive fashion. There's a high fly ball hit towards right. Chris Jimenez moving towards the line, and that will get Josh Tomlin out of this first inning. The Iron Pigs get a run from a hit. They will leave 2 stranded after a half. Lehigh Valley 1 and Columbus coming up. 1-0, Lehigh Valley in front, and here come the Clippers for the first time tonight. Michael Brantley will lead it off for Columbus. The center fielder will get it started. He'll be followed by the shortstop, Brian Bixler. And batting third and doing the catching is Carlos Santana. Wes Hodges cleans up at first. Nick Weglars bats 5th and left. Chris Jimenez in right hitting 6th. Jordan Brown, the DH, batting 7th. Brian Busher, the 8-hitter and 3rd baseman. And batting 9th at 2nd is Josh Rodriguez. Brian Mazzone on the hill for the Iron Pigs, and his first pitch in there for a strike. Mazzone making start number 10 on the year, 3-5 with a 4.21 ERA. The veteran, the 33-year-old, back to work, and here's a swing and a high fly ball down the left field side, and that is going to be foul and into the seats. Brian Mazzone from Mission Viejo, California, acquired by trade a year ago, reported to Lehigh Valley, pitched in 11 games to finish out the year, 2-6 with a 3.50 ERA in AAA. Here's a high pop-up by Brantley. It'll be the shortstop, Brian Bocock, 1 down. Now, I think, Eric, one of the big challenges for this Clippers team will be finding ways to produce the type of offense that they were producing with the likes of Trevor Crowe and Jason Donald and Shelley Duncan. They're going to need guys like Brian Bixler, who steps in here to play a bigger role now that they are hitting near the top of the order. Nick Weglars comes up from AA. He's going to have to produce.
Well, you're exactly right. Those guys ahead of Carlos Santana and actually right behind him are going to be the guys who are going to have to pick up the slack. They're going to have to be on base for Santana when he comes up, but they're also going to have to be able to protect him from behind so that pitchers don't pitch around him.
Today you've got Santana batting 3rd, Hodges following him. Bixler shoots one to center. Rich Thompson moving over, and he'll flag it down.
It's a good swing by Bixler there. Trying to take that ball the other way. Scott, when you look at the flags, they're blowing out to right center field. Pretty steady breeze.
Yeah, not a bad breeze at all. And when batters come to the plate, especially lefties, they see that 318 down in the right field corner, and they think it is going to be a picnic. But what we have learned, I think, Eric, from this ballpark is that it doesn't play like a bandbox like you would think it might, with 318 to one corner and 325 to the other.
Yeah, it really does. It takes an honest home run to get the ball out of this ballpark. There are no cheap ones given up here.
Santana will take a first pitch strike. I think Santana's leg kick there was as big as that of the pitcher Brian Mazzone, but Carlos had no intentions of actually swinging. Batting right, of course, against the lefty pitcher. The switch hitting catcher will look at a ball, and it is a 1-1 count. We didn't see nearly as many home runs hit to right last year, but I think part of the equalizer is the fact that you have that 22-foot high wall in right field. Saw a lot of baseballs hit off that wall that anywhere else would have been doubles, but the right fielder, if he plays it right on the kickback, can hold a guy to a single pretty easily.
Yeah, true, especially if they're not taking off. There we see the big leg kick there, and a lot of times hitters who do that really struggle because they get out in front and they're not able to stay back on the breaking ball, but Santana's been able to adjust, and there you see it right there. There was the slow breaking ball from the left-hander Mazzone, and he was able to foul it off.
Well, Carlos Santana can count the number of fastballs that he has seen when he's behind in the count on one hand. He just doesn't see them. Once the opposing pitcher is able to get a little bit of advantage on him, then it's a healthy dose of breaking pitches. Here's the 1-2. And misses down low. Does Mazzone with that one?
Yeah, that was a fastball down, but that was down by design. Now he's going to show him something off speed again. And the difference between Carlos Santana and many hitters, he has that big leg kick, but he's able to keep his hands back so that he's able to get the bat head through when he needs to right there.
Solid base hit for Santana. So the Clippers have their first base runner of the day. Carlos Santana entering play tonight with a batting average of .313, a .447 on base percentage. He just continues to get the job done. Not only does he hit, but he draws a ton of walks. And during this most recent road trip, his batting average, frankly, was not very good over the 8 games. But he saw his on-base percentage go up because he saw a lot of free passes. He has now walked 35 times this year, compared to just 29 strikeouts. And oh, by the way, that is his 48th hit in 45 games played. Wes Hodges looks at a first pitch ball.
Yeah, he was able to turn on that pitch. And Scott, sitting up here, the vantage point that we have just a little bit down the first baseline, we really saw how he turned on that baseball, turned it over, and it kind of had a little hook to it, kind of like my drive on the golf course.
Which is not by design.
No, not by design. It comes out every once in a while when I'm trying to correct the slice.
2-0 the count to Hodges. Wes has had a good year so far, moving from third to first for the Indians, and he fouls this one off his left foot. Ouch.
It's a good thing he has the leg guard there. Here we're going to get a good look at it. Hands back, and just drives it off, and I think he just barely got the leg guard, the protector there, so he's all right, ready to go.
Hodges just 2 for 14 in the series at Charlotte that just wrapped up. He batted .241 for the road trip, but his average still just a hair better than 300 for the year. Mazzone with the 2-1.
Change up. We'll see that a lot from Mazzone to these right-handed hitters. Start him out with a fastball, throw some fastballs in, throw them down, and then come back with that change up, and you'll see he has Hodges out in front of that, pulls it right down the line.
That is something that oftentimes makes veterans like Mazzone dangerous, because they've had plenty of time to perfect the changeup, and they're not afraid to throw it even deep in a count.
No, you're exactly right. That's a big separator.
Hodges goes fishing on a pitch up around the letters, and he's gone, and the Clippers are out here in the first inning. So Santana gets a base knock, but he is left on, and after 1 at Huntington Park, it's 1-0 Lehigh Valley. 1-0 Lehigh Valley after 1 here at the ballpark. The Clippers and Iron Pigs lifting the lid on this 4-game series. And when this thing wraps up here in 4 days, they will be done playing each other for the entire season. The way the IL schedule is set up, you play 8 games against everyone outside of your division, so you make 1 4-game series trip to their place. They'll come to your house for 4, and that's it. The Clippers have already played the Charlotte Knights all 8 games, and now we're on the back half of the Lehigh Valley season series. This is an Iron Pigs club that, in its franchise history, which dates back 3 years now, they've never been above 500. 1-0 here in the second. Mike Sarbaugh, the Clippers manager, joins us down in the Columbus dugout. And Skip, thanks for taking a few minutes with us. Josh Tomlin had to fight his way out of that first inning, but we were talking about it at the top of the broadcast. He's really been a tremendous surprise for you in your rotation, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's really done a great job, especially of late, being able to get deep into games. Starting in the bullpen beginning of the season, he's been outstanding, and it's been a good, easy transition, it seems, for him.
What is it that makes him successful? Because obviously he doesn't have necessarily the electric stuff of a lot of these other young prospects, but what makes him successful at this level?
Well, he just has a good feel to pitch. He recognizes swings and can go to their to their weaknesses, and I think that's key for Josh. He really studies hitters and has a good feel on how to pitch.
Gets a fly ball here to record the first out of the inning. Neil Sellers is out, and Paul Hoover is coming up.
Hi, Mike. This is Eric Welch. I have a question. How about Nick Weglar?
Yeah.
Called up from Double-A. What do you expect out of him?
Well, not expecting a whole lot early on. He's just getting his feet wet. I tell you what, he didn't have a whole lot to show for it on the road trip, but I thought he really swung the bat well. I think one night he hit 4 balls hard and only was able to get 1 hit out of it. But good, solid approach. Really works the counts. Doesn't really go out of the zone a whole lot. And just his plus power. That's the one thing that separates Nick, is his power.
Well, he comes up from Double-A, and Shelley Duncan goes to the big leagues. Here's a pop-up, and this should be the second out of the inning. How important is it, Skip, that a couple of these guys like Weglars and now Brian Bixler moving up near the top of the order, how important is it that they perform well to fill the void left by guys like Trevor Crowe, Jason Donald, and Shelley Duncan?
Well, you know what? They can't look at it that way, because they'll put too much pressure on themselves. They just got to be themselves. just ease into it, work hard, and you know, just put up good at bats, and then good things will happen. But you know, I'm happy for the guys that got sent up. I think any time as a manager you can tell someone they're going to the major leagues, that's a plus.
This is going to be a 1-2-3 inning here for Josh Tomlin, so I guess you were good luck for him.
That sounds good to me. Thanks,
right,
guys.
Thanks. Mike Sarbaugh joining us down in the dugout. It's 1-0 Lehigh Valley. 1-0 Lehigh Valley. We played an inning and a half here at Huntington Park in downtown Columbus, right in the Arena District, where Bruce Drennan was here today for All Bets Are Off. We're going to visit with Bruce coming up here in just a little bit. Big day in the capital city when Bruce Drennan shows up.
Oh, it certainly is, and that should be entertaining, Scott. I'm really looking forward to that. And, you know, I think you're right. We had to go to that commercial break very quickly. 1-2-3 inning, probably about 7 or 8 pitches. Who was counting? But very interesting to hear Mike Sarbaugh's thoughts on this team and how it is so fluid at the AAA level, and you just have to go with the flow.
Here comes the aforementioned Nick Weglars to lead off the inning against the left-hander Brian Mazzone, and it's a first pitch strike to Weglars. The 22-year-old from Stevensville, Ontario. Batted .227 last year in Double-A, but homered 16 times and drove in 65 runs. He got off to a good start in Double-A, and you knew it was just a matter of time before the phone would ring and he'd be sent here to Columbus.
He's a big fella, Scott. 6'3", 215. Bats left, throws left. There's that breaking ball from Mazzone. Going to see a steady diet of those off-speed pitches. We talked about it in the first inning. Mazzone's not a pitcher who's going to blow anyone away. And as you mentioned, he's a veteran. He's been around a long time. He's been a number of organizations. You see that breaking ball just diving away, and good job by the catcher, Paul Hoover.
You heard Mike Sarbaugh say he doesn't expect a whole lot out of Weglars. I don't think he wants to put a lot of pressure on this young man as he's just getting his feet wet here in AAA. And one of the things that usually happens, more often than not at least, when a young player comes up to AAA for the first time, they do scuffle a little bit. And I think it's because you face guys like a Brian Mazzone that have been around a while, that have some pretty significant big league time in some cases, guys that really know how to get you out. And I think it takes some time for young hitters to make the right adjustments.
That's an excellent point as we see Weglars swing through that fastball down and away. That's an excellent point, Scott, because they're not going to see any pitches that they haven't seen before. What they're going to see is different approaches from those veteran pitchers.
Looking ahead here on Sports Time Ohio, the Clippers and the Norfolk Tides will lock it up on June 14th. We'll have that one for you. And then August 23rd against the Toledo Mud Hens. So still a couple more games left here on Sports Time Ohio. That June 14th game, by the way, a Monday night, and the August 23rd tilt also on a Monday. So mark your calendar to get out here to the ballpark. Off days for the Cleveland Indians on both occasions, so you won't miss the big club in action. You can come on out here and take in a game with us.
Now, those Diamond Dog nights, Scott?
I'll have to look. Mondays are the food specials nights here at the ballpark. August 23rd is the last Diamond Dog night of the year.
Beautiful.
And the June 14th game, by the way, is a dollar deal night, which means $1 hot dogs, soft drinks, and popcorn. So that's the triple threat.
The triple threat of eating in the stands. Nothing finer than eating at a baseball game.
Chris Jimenez is the batter here after fouling that last pitch off. The count is 2-1. Jimenez played hero in our first Sports Time Ohio broadcast this year. He had a 10th inning walk-off homer out to those left field bleachers. Swings at a pitch up here and misses 2-2.
And he mashed that. And Scott, if I remember right, I was watching at home. If I remember right, he took the proverbial shaving cream to the face.
He did.
See him swinging through that fastball up.
Got the shaving cream pie during the post-game interview. Frank Herman of the Clippers bullpen has become known as the shaving cream bandit because of his escapades after these STO games. Here's a pop-up towards center field, and chasing it down is Mazza. Nice play there by Mazza, not just to get there, but then to reach up over his head and make the catch.
Boy, that's a great play by Mazza there. And you see the veteran, he gets a great jump on this baseball. As soon as he sees the swing, he's off and running. He knows where that is. He doesn't put his glove up until the last second, and he's able to snare it.
So with 2 down, here's Jordan Brown, the shaving cream bandit, or for short, El Bandito. Frank Herman of the Columbus bullpen. Mike Gosling pitched a gem in a game that turned out to be his career finale. Gosling had decided before the game he was going to hang it up. Went out, pitched a great game. We were interviewing him in the post-game show, and El Bandito snuck up from behind him and got him with the shaving cream pie. Quite a send-off for your final game.
Yeah, it certainly was. And you know, a lot of players say that they know when the time comes. You know, not everyone is Brett Favre coming back time after time after time, and Gosling thought, you know, this is it, and you said it, what a way to go out.
Here's a pitch that misses. Oh no, called strike. Looked like it was in on the hands of Jordan Brown, and our plate umpire, Dan Bellino, will call it a strike to make it 2-1. Jordan Brown batting 7th in the lineup. He's been in the 7 spot since coming off the DL. He went on the disabled list with some tightness in his lower back. Mazzone misses inside. Before that, he was on the shelf to begin the year because of a torn left meniscus. So Jordan is just trying to get his feet under him, so to speak. He told us the other day he feels good some days and not so good on others. Here's a fly ball to center, and Rich Thompson will backpedal shy of the warning track. He will put it away, and it's a 1-2-3 frame for the southpaw Mazzone. We've played 2 here in Columbus. It's 1-0 Lehigh Valley. We're going to get ready to send it downstairs for one of the fan favorites here at the ballpark. It is the Roosters wing fling, and with that we go out to left field to our Huntington Park MC Kyle Blizzard.
Fans, please direct your attention towards left field. Here's Kyle Blizzard.
All right, fans, it's Thursday night, and that means it's time for the Roosters wing fling. Very simple game. We've got Kevin out here. What Kevin's going to have to do is, our promo team is on top of the left field building, the AEP Power Pavilion, and the Roosters on the roof. They're going to launch 3 rubber chickens all the way down here to the field. It's up to Kevin to catch them in his bucket. They're going to shoot them one at a time. If he catches all 3, he's going home with 100 wings, courtesy of Roosters. All right, Kevin, are you ready? Fans, are we ready? I like it. Aim, fire! Here comes the first wing. I'm in the way. Kevin's after it. Oh! Oh! He laid out for that one. Got the stretch. It was in the bucket and came out. All right, he's ready for that second chicken. I'm in the way again. Oh! I think I'm getting in the way. I'm costing the chickens. All right. Kevin's going to get the 3rd and final chicken here. I have faith he's going to get it. Here it comes. It's going to be a little shallow this time. And just out of reach, they had him all over the field. We didn't give him much of an effort. But how about we give him 25 anyway, wings anyway? How's that sound? All right, let's hear it for Kevin.
Well, that breeze blowing out towards right field was wreaking havoc on poor Kevin there, trying to catch the chickens that were flying off the roof of the AEP Power Pavilion coming from the Roosters on the Roof location. Clippers had a rare off day yesterday. I took the family to Roosters for dinner and had some of those wings.
Oh, there you go. They're a tremendous wing. Some of the best you'll find, obviously. I tell you what, I've never tried to catch a chicken. Tried to catch fly balls, but never a chicken. And that is tough business, as we see here, leading off the top of the 3rd inning. Top of the order, Chris Duffy. And Duffy walked his first time up, later came around to score on an RBI ground out by Andy Tracy. No balls and 1 strike here as Josh Tomlin's in his 3rd inning of work. See another fastball there that Duffy is just able to foul off. Oftentimes you don't see, with less than 2 strikes, a player just try to waste a pitch, but it almost appeared that's what Duffy was doing there on 0-1.
Well, let's see what he does here on 0-2 as Tomlin tries to retire the leadoff man. We're back to the top of the order already for the Iron Pigs. He fouls this one away.
Yeah, Scott, we talked earlier, Tomlin's not going to blow anyone away, but he does have the ability to run it up there in the low 90s. He threw that last pitch 91 miles an hour on Duffy's fist, and Duffy, you see, wasn't able to turn on it. So he's sneaky fast.
Here's one hit towards the hole. Bixler got him. Brian Bixler making a great play on a ball hit behind second base. Bixler acquired from the Pirates in a minor league trade in the offseason.
There's a breaking ball away, and you see Bixler. The great thing is he's able to get his balance. It doesn't look like it because he's still spinning, but he gets his balance going back toward first base and makes a good throw. And, of course, that's why he's now in the Cleveland Indian organization, is that defense.
Rich Thompson will foul that first pitch away. Got a little bit of a divide in the Clippers clubhouse. Now, this is a team that has great chemistry. I think that it's as good of a clubhouse as we've seen in quite some time here in Columbus. But Bixler is from Sandusky. You've got a couple of guys that have either lived in Cincinnati or from the Cincinnati area, like Joe Smith, and Jensen Lewis has been on both ends of the spectrum, up in Medina and then down in Cincinnati. You've got a little bit of a divide because you've got the Cedar Point group and then the Kings Island group, and I think that that's probably a topic of discussion on many days.
Oh, it always has to be, Scott. And you know, when you talk about the roller coasters, they're gonna rank those. They're gonna argue. They're gonna debate. Of course, everybody thought you were talking about an Indians Reds controversy. Heck no, theme parks.
Cedar Point versus Kings Island. That's the big topic. Here's Josh Tomlin with a 1-2 pitch for Rich Thompson, the Lehigh Valley center fielder. He popped it up. Wes Hodges. 2 away.
And that's an example right there of just keeping the hitters off stride. Some fastballs, some breaking balls, some change-ups, and before you know it, you've got a little pop out and 2 away. And of course, talking about rides, Scott, has been a great ride so far for these International League West leading Columbus Clippers.
The Clippers entering play today at 28-19, currently a game-and-a-half lead over Toledo. The Clippers have spent the last 44 days consecutively in first place. And they have been in first place for every day this season, minus just a couple right at the outset of the year. This was a Clippers team that maybe set the tone for a special year by coming out on opening night and blistering Indianapolis 17-4. That was a sign of things to come. Now, the next night, this same lineup scored 12 runs and lost. It's not often that you score that many runs, 29 runs over 2 games, and you come out 1-1.
Yeah, that is tough there.
Mayberry fouling this one back. John Mayberry almost got hit by that pitch a moment ago. Now a fastball at 90 miles an hour, and the count is 1-2.
Well, back-to-back fastballs. You saw the one on the replay there. We had to get skinny or get hit, and he didn't, and he fouled that one off. And don't be surprised here if he sees slider away. That's what he saw on the first pitch and took it for a strike. Tomlin changing speeds and mixing them in and out really well.
Here's a ball hit towards shallow center. The second baseman, Josh Rodriguez, will put it away. And the side is retired. 1-2-3 inning for Tomlin. After 2.5, 1-0 Iron Pigs. 1-0 Lehigh Valley in front as we move to the home half of the 3rd inning. And Brian Busher will lead it off for the Clippers. Scott Leo and Eric Welch with you here tonight at Huntington Park. And joining us here in our broadcast booth is Bruce Drennan, the host of All Bets Are Off here on STO. Weekdays 3 to 6 and on Sundays as well. Bruce, you're a busy man, aren't you? Here's Brian Busher as we get this bottom half of the 3rd inning underway. I want to ask you a little bit about your first impressions of the park here in just a moment. There is a first pitch strike. You walk into this place, and obviously it's a minor league park, but the first thing I thought when this place opened a year ago, it has all the amenities of a big league facility, just on a minor league scale. It's a ground ball over to short, and Busher will be retired very quickly. So Brian Mazzone working quickly here, and he's putting the Clippers down one after another. One down for the number 9 hitter, Josh Rodriguez. Crash and Lucille hanging out on the concourse here at the ballpark, taking some pictures with some of the youngsters. One of the neat things about this facility, and I'm sure, Bruce, as you walk around and check it out, you're seeing this as well. There are a lot of places where you can just kind of hang out and watch the game. A lot of areas to stand. There are places to kind of sit down in the right field pavilion and look for a home run ball to come your way. And I think a lot of times at minor league parks, that's what people like to bounce around and chat with their buddies or take the wife and kids out and kind of move around and experience the ballpark from all over the place.
It looks like there's not a bad seat in the house, Scott, and there's so many different areas. The right, I love left field and left center. That's really beautiful.
Here's a fly ball, hits a right off the bat of Rodriguez, and John Mayberry is right there. So Brian Mazzone getting the job done so far as we play here in the third. 2 down, Michael Brantley to the plate. Bruce Drennan with us here in the broadcast booth. You had the show right down here in the Arena District today. I assume a lot of your Columbus faithful came out to see you?
It was just so humbling, guys. Yeah, we had a huge crowd, and in the sweltering heat especially, it was very flattering. We had a great time, great guest. Started the show off with the mayor, big sports fan.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. He was out here on opening day to see the Clippers.
And little did I know, he's even campaigning to get LeBron.
Yeah,
that's the whole state, isn't it?
There's quite a line forming, right, for the services of LeBron.
Little did I know that Columbus wants him too.
Brantley looks at a ball low. 2 balls and no strikes to the leadoff man and center fielder. You and I have talked several times about some of these prospects that the Indians are letting develop here in AAA. Michael Brantley started the year up. Now he's back down here, but he's a guy that obviously is a big part of the plans of the big league club, and eventually I would think that we're going to see him in this same role leading off for the Tribe.
When he came back, he started off slowly, but now he's hitting, isn't he?
A little bit, yeah.
He's a great talent. I interviewed him at spring training at Goodyear and really got into base running with him, and he's a student of the game, and we devoted about 6-7 minutes of the interview just to talking about the art of base stealing. I love the kid. I think he's got all the tools.
Yeah, it's really interesting because last year he swiped 46 bases in this league. It was tied for the league lead. This year he has only swiped 3 bases in 5 tries, and I talked to Mike Sarbaugh about it the other day. He thinks that because a lot of these pitchers have seen him, now they're changing up their deliveries and doing things to try and hold him close to the bag. And I just wonder if at some point Michael's going to have to turn it loose and roll the dice on some stolen bases. Here he's going to move up on a wild pitch. So the Clippers will have a runner in scoring position with 2 down with Brian Bixler at the plate.
Well, all he needs to do is take a lead on Burley. He'll get balked down to second if West is umping first.
And of course, Burley said that he needs to stick to umpiring and get rid of that singing career.
There you go.
We had West on the show too Monday, and I love West. That second balk was just purely to just put another nail in Ozzy's coffin.
Backing up on it is Ransom at third. Long throw. Got him.
That's a play.
Wow, Cody Ransom showing off his tools over there at the hot corner for the Phillies AAA club. The Clippers get a base runner but leave a man on. Bruce, stick around. We'll chat some more.
Love to.
All right, we're at the end of 3. It's a 1-0 Lehigh Valley lead here at Huntington Park. Lehigh Valley getting a first inning run off of Josh Tomlin, but the Clippers right-hander has settled in. And it remains a 1-0 ball game as we get this 4th inning underway. Andy Tracy to the plate for the Iron Pigs. Bruce Drennan is with us here in the broadcast booth as we bring you Clippers baseball here on STO. First pitch, a ball from Tomlin. The Indians have struggled out of the gate so far this year. Are you as surprised as I am, not necessarily with their record, but with the struggles offensively, considering you bring in a guy like Russell Branyan in the offseason? We know Matt Laporta can hit. Obviously, Travis Hafner, Grady Sizemore, those guys trying to come back off injury seasons. Are you surprised that offensively they've been so inept?
Yes, I am. I didn't think coming back from spring training that we'd have a problem scoring runs. I thought our starting rotation was very questionable. Westbrook coming off the Tommy John. Carmona, of course, the 2 bad seasons. The kids in the back end of the pen. Masterson making the transition from the pen starting. And actually the starting pitching has been a pleasant surprise, especially this kid Talbot that we got for Kelly Shopping. But yeah, and then of course it's enhanced the offensive problems with, as you mentioned, Guerrero.
Andy Tracy's gone on strikes, and that'll be the first out of the inning. Tracy with some words for our plate umpire, Dan Bellino, as he heads back to the dugout. Eric, we're going to get a look at the pitch-by-pitch sequence here.
There you see an off-speed pitch, a change-up that's away. Then there's a fastball that's right sinking, 2 of them away. And then a fastball that is down and in. And of course, Tracy didn't like that pitch, but that was a pretty good pitch on the inside part of the plate. We saw that in his first at-bat. that he took for a strike and then hit the breaking ball for the single, but he didn't get it this time.
Here's Cody Ransom, who made a great play over at third base in the last half inning. Looks at a first pitch strike. Here in Columbus, Bruce, sort of like the Mitch Talbot situation in the big leagues, Tomlin has been the surprise of the rotation. He was actually in the Clippers bullpen to start the year, but Scott Lewis went on the shelf. Tomlin moved in. He's been the best that Mike Sarbaugh's team has had to offer in that rotation. I guess sometimes there's something to be said for just a kid that knows how to pitch. I mean, he won 14 games in Double-A last year. A lot of times I think we get caught up reading all the publications about a guy that has an electric fastball, but if somebody knows how to pitch, they can get the job done.
And you know what? A kid like this doing so well as he's progressing through the system, I don't know how much longer Manny Acta can go with Masterson in the starting rotation. He's not going to give up on the kid, nor should he, in making this transition. But one bad disaster, one more bad outing, and a kid like Tinley could be up with the Indians.
Well, and at some point in time, you have to make something happen, make a little change there. And, you know, with Masterson, it may be either being sit down or doing something a little bit different. And you're right, Tomlin could have an opportunity to move on, especially if he keeps throwing like this.
There's a shot to right field, but there is Jimenez, and he'll put it away.
You know, I actually believe, too, that the Indians will stick with him as a starter. They're committed to it, and the kid wants to start. He's got a fantastic attitude. He's a wonderful young man, and maybe, you know, but they're hitting, lefties are hitting 380 something against him. He's fine against the righties, but not the, so maybe coming down here for a while if he has another bad outing.
There haven't been any changes in that starting rotation yet. We thought there was going to be, at least temporarily, when Jake Westbrook was a little bit under the weather one day, and Carlos Carrasco was scratched from his start here and went up and was sort of in waiting. They ended up not activating him onto the big league roster. But I think the assumption is that Carrasco is number 6 in that starting rotation, so to speak. When they need somebody, he'll be the guy.
How's he doing?
He's been good.
I've been looking at his numbers, but you can only see so much with that.
Yeah, he's hit some rough spots along the way. I think that the interesting part about this Clippers team is we thought the starting rotation would be one of the real strong suits, and really it's been the offense and the bullpen here. But Carrasco has been able to hold his own. He continues to get those strikeout numbers. Not quite the ratio he had last year when he led the International League in strikeouts, but I think he's sort of every time out auditioning for an opportunity in Cleveland.
Sure.
Yeah,
well, he was a Phillies top prospect there.
A fly ball hit towards that right field corner, but it's going to hit off the sidewall down there.
He was
actually snuck inside the seats there.
A couple of years ago, he was their top pitching prospect, and then he had a bad go of it. And then last year, after we acquired him, he came here and he was lights out.
Yeah. He really did a good job. Now, talking about prospects, Bruce, what are your thoughts on catcher Carlos Santana?
When we were detained over there where we did the show, and so we walked in the bottom of the first inning, my wife and myself, from beyond the left field bleachers there, and I saw that Santana was at the plate. So before our vision was blocked, I said, wait a minute, I want to see this kid hit. Naturally, he gets a line drive single. He's down on the count 0-2, and he still gets a base hit to left.
Were you all out in left field? Did you see how he turned on that ball and hooked that ball?
I sure did. He's a beautiful product.
He really is.
And can hardly wait to see him in Indians uniform.
Here comes a 1-2 pitch for Lehigh Valley's second baseman, Luis Mazza, and he'll pop this one up. So Josh Tomlin, much like in his last start, had to get over that first inning hump, and now he's really settling in. We're going to go to the bottom half of the fourth, and we'll continue on here with Bruce Drennan for just a few more minutes at Huntington Park. Lehigh Valley leading the Clippers 1-0. Lehigh Valley leading 1-0. The Clippers have struggled against left-hander Brian Mazzone so far. The lone hit coming from Carlos Santana. And as we move into the Columbus half of the fourth inning, it will be Santana to lead it off.
Let me ask you guys a question, because obviously he's major league ready offensively now. But how's his receiving? How's his throwing? How's his handling of pitchers?
I think it's been really good. He has not thrown out, if you look at the numbers, as many base runners as you would like, but a lot of that is on the pitchers.
That's correct.
There's really been 2 or 3 guys in this Columbus rotation have struggled to hold runners on, and it's really made it tough for Carlos to pick up those caught stealing numbers. But he's got a tremendous arm. As far as calling a game, I think he's been outstanding. He's really learned to utilize the strengths of the guys on this staff. So I think that, you know, as far as that goes, you know, all systems are ready.
Yeah, I think the key with him is he fouls this pitch off again. You see how he really turns on it. I think the key is he just needs to keep getting innings with pitchers who are major league ready, if not former major league pitchers, guys who have been up in the show a little bit, to kind of gain the confidence himself, but the pitching staff gain a confidence in him that he can do the job as well. He's definitely a very good hitter. You know, we talked early how he gets out on that front foot, but the key is he holds his hands back. He keeps his hands back so he can adjust to the off-speed pitches.
And again, what we were talking about earlier, the fact that he has really good strike zone awareness. Now, he just went down looking in that at bat, but he continues to draw more walks than he has strikeouts. And during the recent Clippers road trip, he didn't swing the bat very well, but his on-base percentage actually went up. He leads the league in on-base because he was drawing a lot of walks. Wes Hodge is going to pop this one up to the second baseman, Mazza. And we have 2 down here in the Clippers' 4th inning. Bruce Drennan joining us, the host of All Bets Are Off right here on Sports Time Ohio. And nobody is more passionate about Cleveland sports or Ohio sports for that matter than you are. And sometimes you get me fired up and I'm ready to grab the phone and call you.
And you know, we're so maligned in Ohio. It's really my pet peeve. And this is just such a wonderful place to live, the state, all the cities. It's great.
Nick Waglars lining that one foul.
Especially now we're getting into the good weather.
Getting into that good weather.
Beat the summer and the fall in Ohio. You can't. Now the winter, then
it's a different story, especially with y'all up there on the lake.
That's why you take a vacation to Mexico at that time.
There you go, and then get to spring training as soon as you can,
right? And watch Santana spray the ball.
You've got it figured out.
Now here's another prospect, Nick Waglars. We talked with Mike Sarball back in the 3rd inning about this young prospect who was called up and about his power numbers. And you see there, he's an imposing figure. And we saw him turn on that first pitch this at-bat and line it into the stands.
Right.
Here's one of the nice things, Bruce, about what the Indians have done with their minor league clubs. They've got them all close to home, with the exception of Kinston. Everybody else is here in Ohio, and you can come down here from Cleveland and see guys like Waglars and Santana, really easy drive, and, you know, not an expensive ticket either. So from Cleveland's standpoint, from the Indian standpoint, this is really an ideal situation.
Well, for the organization with the scouting and absolutely.
Waglars fouling that one back. 3 balls, 2 strikes, the count to the newest member of the Columbus roster.
I see the Indians just good grab there. I see the Indians just elevated Alex White, last year's #1 draft pick. And, you know, the Indians do not have a great track record in this past decade of drafting. I think they got one right. I hope they did with this kid. He looks really good.
Waglars down on strikes. Well, Bruce, we won't keep you any longer, but we want to thank you for stopping in to say hello to us on your first visit here to Huntington Park.
Yeah, it's gorgeous, and thanks for having me, Eric. Good
Bruce,
to see you.
Good to see you, and good luck with the show.
Keep teaching those golf kids of yours to play 18.
Hey, we keep working hard.
All right, Bruce. We'll see you, buddy.
All
right. We'll be back
Bruce.
after this. 1-0 Lehigh Valley after 4. Leading the Clippers 1-0 as we go to the 5th inning of baseball here at Huntington Park. First pitch in there for a strike to Neil Sellers. It'll be Sellers, Hoover, and Bocock, bottom 3rd of the order. Big thank you goes out to Bruce Drennan for stopping in to chat with us for a little bit. He's always a lot of fun.
Oh, he is definitely a lot of fun. And Scott, you mentioned when we were talking with him, he is very passionate about sports, not only in Cleveland, but in Ohio in general. And he's certainly very knowledgeable.
Yeah, he will talk Ohio State Buckeyes with you all day long as well. Here's a shot to left. It's going to be off the wall. Waglars will play it on a bounce. Here comes the throw to second.
That's a tremendous play and a tremendous throw by a guy who has not been out there, Scott. You see Waglars plays this perfectly. There's a fastball on the inside part of the plate that Neil Sellers just turns on, and it comes right back to Waglars. He makes a great throw here. Good diving tag by the second baseman, Josh Rodriguez. That broke a streak of 11 in a row that Josh Tomlin had retired, but nobody's on base because of the great throw by Waglar and the great catch and play by Rodriguez.
Yeah, Tomlin still gets the out. Here's the catcher, Paul Hoover, looking at a strike.
That's just a tremendous play by the youngster out there.
Well, this is the first game Nick Waglars has ever played in this ballpark, so that's very impressive.
Right, joined the club on the road trip, and
Hoover fouling that one away on the first base side. We invite your emails at clipperstv@clippersbaseball.com. Drop us a line. We'd love to hear from you. Got an email in from David wanting to know about those Carlos Santana caught stealing numbers. Santana has caught 6 of 32 this year, which is a shade lower than 19%, which obviously isn't good, but you oftentimes will talk about base runners stealing on the pitcher, and I think that's been the case oftentimes with the Clippers.
Well, most of the time as we see the pitch sequence here, and once again, this is just a great glimpse of Tomlin throwing it where he wants. He throws that fastball up and throws it by him. But back to the numbers with the pitchers, most of the time the runners do steal on the pitchers. It's how they hold them on, and there's a number of ways that pitchers will keep runners close. First, they'll throw over. They'll use a variety of moves to throw over. Secondly, they'll use a slide step instead of using the normal kick. And then the third thing is just holding. When they come to a set position, there's a drive.
That ball's hit well towards the left field bleachers, and that is where it'll land. A 2-out home run to give the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs a 2-0 lead. A ball that got lifted up into the atmosphere here in downtown Columbus. And that will be a home run from Brian Bocock, the number 9 batter in the lineup. And for Bocock, it's his first home run in 120 at-bats this year.
First home run, but he made that one count as he got all of that pitch. Tomlin didn't throw the pitch exactly where he wanted to. But back to holding the runner, the pitcher will come into the stretch, and he'll hold and hold. And here's a ground ball to first base, and that's fielded cleanly by Wes Hodges for the 3rd out.
That's going to put us in the middle of the 5th inning, Eric, and after that home run from Bocock, it's now 2-0 Iron Pigs leading the Clippers. Clippers baseball here on Sports Time Ohio from Huntington Park. It's a 2-0 Lehigh Valley lead. A hot day at the ballpark, but we've got a little bit of a breeze blowing, which helps. We are pedal to the metal now towards the summer months. Kids will be out of school here pretty soon, and they'll be spending a lot of time here at the ballpark again this year, I'm sure. The Clippers led all of minor league baseball in attendance last year. First pitch, a strike to Jimenez.
Available on Dish Cinema.
Clippers baseball here on Sports Time Ohio from Huntington Park. It's a 2-0 Lehigh Valley lead. A hot day at the ballpark, but we've got a little bit of a breeze blowing, which helps. We are pedal to the metal now towards the summer months. The kids will be out of school here pretty soon, and they'll be spending a lot of time here at the ballpark again this year, I'm sure. The Clippers led all of minor league baseball in attendance last year. First pitch, a strike to Jimenez. Jimenez, Brown, and Busher, 6, 7, and 8 for the Clippers. Brian Mazzone's been dynamite so far. He's allowed just 1 hit.
You know, he's the epitome of the crafty left-hander, Scott, mixing speeds, moving it in and out. You know, both these pitchers have done a tremendous job. Unfortunately, Clippers pitcher Josh Tomlin's on the short side of the 2-1 game because of that home run he gave up in the top half of this inning.
Jimenez 0 for 1 today. Popped up to the second baseman back in the 2nd inning. Mazzone getting ahead in the count yet again. That's been a theme for him. Here comes the 1-2 pitch to the Columbus right fielder. High and tight, 2-2.
Well, even that pitch, 86 miles an hour on a fastball up, and typically that's where pitchers are going to register their highest velocity. Now he'll probably come back with something off speed. Change up usually to a righty.
2-2 pitch, yep. Couldn't catch the outside corner with it. Full count.
Well, it's time for the Clippers to get something going here, Scott. They have not had a leadoff hitter on in the first 4 innings of this ball game, and typically that's a great way to generate some offense.
Jimenez fouls that one away. This is the beginning of an 8-game but 7-day homestand. Memorial Day doubleheader on Monday starting at 4:05. The Louisville Bats will be in town, and right now, if everything stays status quo, no injury and no change in the Louisville rotation, then Reds ace prospect, Louisville ace, Aroldis Chapman will pitch here on Tuesday. Geminis hits a fly ball to center, and that'll be out number 1. That's another real advantage to minor league baseball, and specifically the AAA level. A guy like Aroldis Chapman comes from Cuba, signs a $30 million deal with Cincinnati. He's going to be in the big leagues at some point, but a chance to shell out just a few dollars and come see him before he gets onto the big stage. That'll be a lot of fun when Chapman pitches against the Clippers.
Oh, it certainly will. And of course, you know, there's quite a few fans of the Cincinnati Reds here in Central Ohio and have followed the Reds signing of that young Cuban player. And certainly that'll be exciting to see him throw against the Clippers here. Now, Scott, I actually hope that he doesn't make the start Tuesday, that he throws Wednesday, because I am bringing from Columbus State my sport and exercise studies, sport marketing class. We're excited.
That'll be a good day to have a little field trip to the ballpark, huh?
Oh, most definitely. Bring some good weather, though. We need some good weather so we can sit out. We'll probably sit out in the picnic benches out there down the left field line. They have an assignment they have to do, if you remember from last year. You know, it's not all just fun at the ballpark for them.
Hey, if you're going to do homework, you might as well do it at the ballpark, right? Here's a shot to the right field corner. Look out down there. It'll be a 1-2 count to Jordan Brown. 0 for 1 today. Brown, the reigning International League batting champion, trying to solve Brian Mazzone. Here comes the 1-2. Misses. 2-2.
Pitch was just in there. You see the reaction of Brian Mazzone. He wanted that pitch. Thinking, where do I have to make that to get the strike? But it just missed on the inside part of the plate. You mentioned Jordan Brown trying to get back to that groove that he had last season. And of course, the injuries haven't helped at all. This is almost like his spring training.
There's a line shot back up the middle, so he squared that one up nicely.
Well, you'll oftentimes hear when players are struggling, when they're scuffling a little bit, their hitting coach will try to get them to just stay on a pitch, hit the ball back up the middle. You see there, he reaches for it a little bit, but he doesn't try to turn. Usually what happens when you try to turn on that pitch that's away, you roll it over, ground ball to second, but he stays on it enough, hits the line drive, and I'm sure Lee May, the Clippers hitting coach, is excited about that approach.
Let's see what Brian Busher can do. 1 on, 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Mazzone with a step and a throw towards first base. I'll tell you what, Mazzone could have possibly been called for a balk there with that step. He was possibly past that imaginary 45-degree angle.
Well, you hit the nail on the head. It's imaginary. It's 45 is a different angle for every umpire that is out there. And there's another one. I think the key is if he steps that way and his foot is open toward home plate or open toward the first base dugout, he's probably going to get called for a balk. But if he keeps that foot closed, that at least in the umpire's mind gives the runner an opportunity to see something that says he's coming over to first.
The pitch to Busher, called strike. Brian Busher last year was with the Minnesota Twins. Spent his season in the bigs playing in 61 games. Signing as a minor league free agent with Cleveland. Here's the 0-1. Wave on a miss. 0-2.
Back-to-back change-ups there. Mazzone threw a change-up on the inside part of the plate that Busher took for a strike, and then he throws that change-up that is down and way ahead. No balls and 2 strikes. That's where the left-handed pitcher has a left-handed hitter at his mercy.
The 0-2 pitch. Base hit into right field, so Brian Busher delivers. Back-to-back hits for the Clippers in the 5th inning. In the first 4 frames, they had just 1 hit against Mazzone.
Mazzone doesn't make his pitch here, Scott. Look at this fastball up. He tries to get it up, but it doesn't get all the way up. And boy, he'd like to have that one back. But give Brian Busher credit. He saw it, turned on it, and now there's a little bit of a threat going for the Clippers with just 1 out.
Josh Rodriguez to the plate. Two to nothing, Lehigh Valley in front. The Iron Pigs getting a run in the 1st and a run in the 5th. The Clippers trying to answer in their half of the 5th. Rodriguez looks at ball 1. Josh Rodriguez up from AA Akron. Middle infielder. 5 games appeared in prior to tonight. 3 for his first 17, a 176 batting average with 3 runs batted in and 1 homer. Rodriguez, the 25-year-old from Houston, Texas. Injury-plagued 2009, played in just 33 games, all of them with Mike Sarbaugh in Akron. There's a bouncer foul off the Iron Pigs dugout.
That's change up again. So the last two hitters, bottom of the order, Mazzone has worked them. First two pitches, change-ups. And of course, he came with the fastball to Busher and didn't get it up where he wanted. Josh Rodriguez right here, his goal at the plate, number 9 hitter, 1 out, first and second. His goal is to try to turn the lineup over to the top of the order where Michael Brantley waits on deck. And of course, that means don't hit into a double play.
Comes back here and gets a called strike on the fastball, and it's 1-2 now to Rodriguez.
There we had a glimpse of what I think Mazzone was trying to do with the previous hitter, Busher.
Brown at second, Busher at first. The 1-2. Boy, hung that one and it got ripped. Coming around to score is Brown. They'll hold Busher. And the Clippers are on the board on a Josh Rodriguez RBI double. His first double as a Clipper, his 4th run batted in.
Well, we see there, that was a breaking ball that he tried to sneak by him, and you see that Rodriguez stayed back on it and got every bit of that, bounced it off the wall for a double, and there you see the runner coming across the plate, Jordan Brown. And Rodriguez did more than turn the lineup over, Scott. He got 2 runners in scoring position, including himself, and drove in that tying run.
So here is Michael Brantley as we go back to the top of the Columbus lineup. 2 runs off of 3 hits for Lehigh Valley, but the Clippers now have 4 hits in the game.
Yeah, 3 in a row. That's the way you do it. Back to back.
Prior to this 5th inning, Eric, the only base knock the Clippers had was a Carlos Santana first inning single. Brantley will smoke one to right, sending Mayberry back, and he'll make the catch. Tagging from third and scoring the tying run is Busher. On to third base goes Rodriguez. It's a good thing John Mayberry is 6'6". He's able to go up and get that ball, robbing Brantley of extra bases, but Michael does tie the game with a sac fly.
Brantley turned on that, and at first I thought maybe Mayberry was beat, but you're right, he just used every bit of his frame. And give credit to the Columbus Clipper base runners there with the runner on third base, Brian Busher, who scored Josh Rodriguez on second base. Both of them went back and tagged up, Scott. It's so easy to think, oh, that ball's in the over his head, it's going to the wall, I don't need to tag up. And when they make a catch like that, if you're not tagging up, you're not going to score or you're not going to advance.
The go-ahead run now stands 90 feet away. Let's see if Brian Bixler can bring him home. The shortstop tonight for Mike Sarbaugh's club. Looking at a first pitch strike. Bixler's 0 for 2. Josh Rodriguez represents that go-ahead run. Bixler hits one in the air to center, but Rich Thompson is there. So the Clippers will get 2 runs off of 3 hits. They'll leave a man on base. And we are tied at 2 after 5. Let's get ready for the BD's Sumo Slam here, one of the favorite promotions at Huntington Park.
Clippers dugout, it's time for our BD's Mongolian Barbecue Sumo Slam Fest. And here once again is Kyle.
All right, fans, it's time for the BD's Mongolian Barbecue Sumo Slam Fest. What's going to happen is we have our 2 sumos out here. They're each going to get a shot to hit the other one as hard as he can, and whichever one has the biggest hit, judged by you, the fans, will be our winner. And if you're watching at home on STO, feel free to make some noise on your couch. All right, here we go. Are we ready? Sumo number 1, let's get it on. Everybody was kung fu fighting. Oh! A nice solid shoulder tackle to number 2. Sumo number 2 doesn't seem to be phased though. He just shakes it off. Although it did split a wig. Huh? Get it? All right, number 2, let's go. Oh! Airtime with the drop kick. All right, here we go, fans. It's up to you now. Let's hear it for Sumo number 1. All right, not bad. Now let's hear it for Sumo number 2. Yeah! Sumo number 2 is our winner. Congratulations.
the drop kick was good enough to get the fan approval. Sumo number 2 wins that BD's Mongolian Barbecue Sumo Slam Fest here at Huntington Park. You got to always look forward to these sumos when you see them here at the ballpark. And boy, the drop kick gets them every time, huh?
Great time is had by all. I think he did a scouting report. Sumo number 2 did a scouting report, and he knew how he was going to be able to take down number 1 and picked up the prize. Congratulations. Oh, that's a scary event, Scott. If you tell me that as part of my role as broadcaster here that I have to do that, I'll beg off.
Josh Tomlin back to work. It's a brand new ball game here at Huntington Park. We are tied at 2. Moving into the 6th inning, the Clippers and Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs. Here's a strike. Without a doubt, this Lehigh Valley club has one of the more unique names in the International League. There's a chopper towards second base, and Rodriguez can do it with the bat and with the glove as he shows us. 1 away. The Iron Pigs is obviously a name that gets your attention. I remember talking to International League President Randy Mobley the year before Lehigh Valley's team started. And I said, what do you think about a team called the Iron Pigs? And he brought up a great point. He said, had we told you there was a team starting up called the Mud Hens, you'd probably think that that was just as bizarre. But obviously that club up in Toledo has a lot of history, and now it just sort of rolls off the tongue and you don't think twice about it. Plus, you look across minor league baseball, there are some great names.
Oh, there's some great names in minor league baseball, and of course the Pig Irons is one of those. But you know, it's starting to roll off your tongue pretty easily now, Scott, so I think they've arrived. And you know, I think the Lehigh Valley Phillies just doesn't have quite the ring to it.
Their AA club in Reading is called the Reading Phillies. Ironically enough, there's a team called the Indians in the International League, but they're not affiliated with Cleveland. It's the Indianapolis Indians, Pittsburgh's AAA club. There's a fly ball to center. Michael Brantley will make the catch. So John Mayberry is out. The first 2 have been put away here in this 6th inning at the ballpark.
Josh Tomlin has just thrown brilliantly today, Scott. He's only given up 3 hits. Of course, one of them was a home run, but I think the key was he was able to come back from walking the first 2 hitters of the ball game and only gave up 1 run in that first frame. And he settled down after that and has really just done a tremendous job. And really what the Clippers have come to expect this year.
It's really interesting because it's the 2nd start in a row that Tomlin has scuffled in the first. And then once he gets through that first inning, seems to fall into a groove. I don't know if the formula to fixing that is more time in the bullpen before the game or what the case is, but twice in a row, the first inning has been his bugaboo. Now here's a shot to right field. It's going to be a base hit for Andy Tracy, a 2-out single for the BGSU Falcon, Tracy, and here comes Cody Ransom.
Second hit of the game for Tracy. He loves this Columbus area. We mentioned he resides here, but yeah, Scott, oftentimes it can come down to maybe throwing a little bit harder in the bullpen. I mean, in terms of game speed, you never can simulate in the bullpen what happens out on the mound. Your adrenaline is rushing so much more than that. But oftentimes, and we may see Charlie Nagy do this, he may have him spend a little more time out there, pitch an inning. Of course, he may already be doing that. But it does seem like with these last 2 starts, it takes him a minute just to settle down out there, get a feel for the mound.
In both cases, he walked a couple of batters right out of the gate. Here's a shot towards the left field line, but it's going to tail foul. Could have been extra bases for Ransom. Instead, it's just a long strike, and it's an 0-1 count.
Well, no action in the Clipper bullpen. They feel like that Tomlin still has command of his pitches, and really he does. You know, the key is he's not a guy, as we've said many times, he's not going to rear back and throw it by people so that he's throwing 99 in the first inning and by the 5th inning he's throwing 90. No, he makes his pitches. That's how he succeeds.
That was his 85th pitch of the game. He's gone as deep as 96. He threw 91 over 7 innings his last time out. Boy, he didn't get the call there from our plate umpire, Dan Bellino, and I'm not sure why not.
Well, it's a great pitch right there on the inside part of the plate, but Carlos Santana really didn't react, and neither did Josh Tomlin. So Santana must have been set up on the inside part of the plate and just had to reach out a little bit or reach in a little.
From the first base side of the rubber, that 1-1 from Tomlin hit high in the air in foul territory. Hodges to the seats, and he'll watch it land amongst the crowd here at the ballpark. Good turnout on this Thursday night. It's going to be a big weekend here at the park. You've got Party at the Park tomorrow, live music prior to the game. And then Saturday, Sunday, Monday, some huge promotions planned for the Memorial Day weekend. The Superstars will be here. I know you're a big fan of the Superstars. They're here on Saturday. Giant dancing inflatables.
That's exciting.
Hey, keep this in mind too. On Monday, between games of the doubleheader, Quick Change will be here. Did you see Quick Change last year?
Yes, tremendous. That's a must-see right there.
It's essentially a magic act, husband and wife team, and they change clothes literally right in front of you, instantaneously.
And you can bring the kids, folks.
Yes, you can. It is a G-rated program.
It's definitely G-rated.
I've seen Quick Change now several times perform, and I have no idea how they do what they do. So they'll be here Monday between games of the Twin Bill. Here's the 1-2 from Tomlin to Ransom, and the Iron Pigs third baseman fouls it straight back.
89-mile-an-hour fastball right there, and he wasn't able to get around on it. But yeah, Monday's going to be an exciting day at the ballpark. And right now, the extended forecasts that I've seen, Scott, are calling for some good weather.
Unfortunately, everybody in the Midwest has had a roller coaster ride in April and May weather-wise, which is oftentimes the case. But it looks like good things are ahead as Ransom chases a pitch down in the dirt. He's out, and the Iron Pigs are out, and that will get us through 5.5 here at Huntington Park. Game tied at 2. You're watching Clippers baseball on Sports Time Ohio. Game tied at 2. Bottom half of the 6th inning, we're locked up at 2 runs, 4 hits, and no errors for each of these teams. So the line scores are identical as Brian Mazzone, the left-hander for the Iron Pigs, gets back to work. Started his season out of the Pacific Coast League last year with Albuquerque, the AAA affiliate of the Dodgers, and then was dealt to the Phillies. And he has been occupying a spot in Dave Hupper's rotation there in Allentown, Pennsylvania ever since. This is a veteran Lehigh Valley team which can go one of two ways in the minor leagues. When you have a bunch of veterans, you can either be a really good team because guys aren't really fazed by much, or you can really have a rough season. And Lehigh Valley has had some good moments. They just haven't been able to put any stretches together where they've made a run at anything.
No, you're exactly right. They come into this game 18-27, 5th in the International League North. They trail Syracuse by 9.5 games. But, Scott, we were talking before the game, this Lehigh Valley pitching staff is one of the top pitching staffs in the International League. They came into this game 2nd in earned run average, 3.50, and that kind of puts a dent in that whole thought process of pitching wins.
Here's your Ohio Credit Union trivia question for tonight. Jordan Brown was last year's Clipper of the Year. Who's the only Clipper of the Year award winner to also win a Rookie of the Year title in the big leagues? Mike Lowell, Derek Jeter, JT Snow, or Jay Buhner? Email your answer to ClippersTV@ClippersBaseball.com. ClippersTV@ClippersBaseball.com. Who's the only Clipper of the Year that has also been a Rookie of the Year in the big leagues?
That's a good question.
It is a good question. The research team was working hard earlier today. Carlos Santana hits one a mile in the air, and despite the overcast skies, the second baseman Mazza is going to make the catch. So that is out number 1.
Well, for those fans sitting at home, Scott, that catch is a heck of a lot more difficult than it appears. I caught you looking up at the sky there. Look at the sky there. It is very, very light. And when the baseball gets up in there, it's easy for it to disappear. We've seen Mazza now make 2 nice catches for this Lehigh Valley Ball Club.
Both of these teams have been through conditions much worse than this. When these teams played at Lehigh Valley at the beginning of May, we saw back-to-back games, Eric, where there were 30 to 35 mile per hour winds. So baseballs off the bat that looked like they should be home runs to left field weren't even getting out of the infield. The wind was knocking it down immediately. Here's a fly ball hit towards right center, and Mayberry's going to make the catch, and that'll retire Wes Hodges. So Santana pops up, Hodges pops up, and now Nick Weglars will approach the batter's box here in the home half of the sixth.
Yeah, it makes, you know, you talk about that wind, 35 mile per hour winds. That makes it really tough on the infielders because they're the ones that are going in on the ones that are hit like near the pitcher's mound. They're going back on the balls that are hit in between. The outfielders, for the most part, are coming in on the baseballs, making it a lot easier.
Nick Weglars will try and break up a potential 1-2-3 inning for Brian Mazzone. First pitch of ball coming up at the end of the sixth inning, though. It's the Sugardale hot dog race. It is a Columbus Clippers staple. Here's a pitch up near the head of Weglars off the mid of the catcher, Paul Hoover, and it's a 2-0 count.
Scotty, what is Mustard's record this year? Is Mustard still winless?
The Mustard hot dog is still winless.
Oh, because Mustard is my favorite.
Mustard is the Detroit Lions of a couple years ago.
Oh, that's awful. Maybe that streak will be broken tonight. Money on Mustard tonight.
The folks at Homage have put together the vintage Dime-A-Dog t-shirts that you can buy at the Clippers cargo shop out in left field. And on the back, it's the Mustard hot dog that's featured. Yet, not a single victory this year in the hot dog race. Nick Weglars will reach base here on a 2-out walk. So Weglars is on and Chris Jimenez is coming up.
See if we get a chance to see that replay. That looked like it almost nicked his jersey and hit him. Yeah, I don't know if it did or not, but I think we'll score that one as a base on ball. Of course, you know, Scott, many people love losers, and Mustard definitely is a loser, at least here in the ballpark. Not for me, though.
Chris Jimenez leveling that bat and looking to pick up his first hit of the night. Jimenez is 0 for 2. First pitch ball. Jimenez, the super utility man for the Clippers. He's the backup catcher. He plays some first base, some right field every once in a while. Third base or left field if needed. He's in right tonight. Mazzone with the 1-0. No, a throw over to first, and wow. Weglars was caught off the base, and they got him.
All Lee May could do is shake his head. That's a pretty good move by Weglars there, or excuse me, by Mazzone there, and you see Weglars was way off the base.
That is what a lefty can do to you sometimes on the bases. So the Clippers are gone, and after 6, it's a 2-2 game, and it's time now for that Sugardale hot dog race.
All right, fans, time now to take a look at the video board in right center field. It is time for tonight's Huntington Park Sugardale hot dog race. And away they go. As you can see, fans, Ketchup with the lead this season. 2 wins over Relish. Mustard still looking to break his maiden here tonight. And you look down the right field line, here they come. It's Mustard with a short lead over Ricky Relish and Kelly Ketchup. Mickey Mustard is the pace setter here. A chance to win for the first time this season, but here comes Ricky Relish. And down they go. It's going to be Kelly Ketchup cruising to a victory here. Another heartbreak at the wire for Mickey Mustard, still winless on the season. Kelly Ketchup, the winner of tonight's Sugardale hot dog race, and as always, Sugardale is the official hot dog of your Columbus Clippers.
Another victory for the Ketchup hot dog here at Huntington Park.
Scott, that's terrible right there. That's dirty play by the Relish. I think Relish and Ketchup have something against Mustard because Mustard was in the lead all the way, and it appeared that he got knocked down. But nonetheless, Ketchup wins that. Here we are in the top half of the 7th inning with Lehigh Valley and Columbus tied 2-2. Josh Tomlin out for his 7th inning of work. He has thrown a tremendous game here. 2 runs, 4 hits. Only the 2 walks, which actually came first 2 hitters of the ball game. Since then, he has thrown the ball well, with the exception of home run by Brian Bocock. With 2 out in the 5th inning.
Well, we'll see what Luis Mazza can do as the leadoff man here in this 7th inning at Huntington Park, opening game of this series between the Indians and the Phillies AAA clubs. Clippers going to the bullpen here in this 7th inning, and Joe Smith coming on, so that means the night is over for Josh Tomlin after 6 frames, allowing 2 runs off of 4 hits. He will not factor in the decision.
Well, the Clippers slipped that change in on me, Scott. I didn't even see him throwing in the bullpen. I was so upset with Mustard losing that race that I did not catch that change.
Yeah, the side armor, almost submariner Joe Smith here. It's his 11th appearance since coming down from Cleveland. 2-1 with a 3.09 ERA. 11 strikeouts, 6 walks, over 11 2/3 for Smith. He'll get a bouncer to first that Hodges backs up on. He'll flip it to the covering pitcher, 1 away.
As soon as that ball is hit to that right side, you hear someone from the dugout, some of the catcher, Carlos Santana, yelling, "Get over," and that means the pitcher's responsibility is to get over there and cover that. They do that a lot during spring training, and they have pitchers fielding practice quite often throughout the season as well, so that pitchers like Joe Smith can make that play when needed. That's going to bring up Neil Sellers. Sellers 1 for 2 on the day. He had a single back in the 5th inning. Hit the ball hard off the wall, but left fielder Nick Weglars was able to chase it down and throw to Josh Rodriguez at second to catch Neil Sellers, trying to stretch that hit into a double.
Joe Smith from Cincinnati, out of Wright State University over in the Dayton area. That's my alma mater, by the way, in case you didn't know. Here's the answer to your Ohio Credit Union trivia question. The only Clipper of the Year to also win a Rookie of the Year award in the Bigs, Derek Jeter, 95 Clipper of the Year, 96 AL Rookie of the Year. You had that one all the way, didn't you?
Yeah, but you know what? I kind of doubted myself. Jeter is the consummate player, obviously, at least for me. He's the kind of guy that I admire. But I thought that was maybe a little too easy. But yeah, he had a heck of a season here with the Clippers in '95.
Well, what do they always tell you when you're taking a test?
Go with the
First
obvious.
answer that pops into your head, go with it.
That's right, go with it.
Don't start doubting yourself.
You're exactly right.
Yeah, Derek Jeter's had an okay career, huh?
Decent.
Here's a called strike on a 3-1 pitch to Sellers. Full count now to the Lehigh Valley first baseman. 1 for 2 tonight is Sellers.
Yeah, Jeter's won a few World Championship rings and all-time leading hitter in Yankee history in terms of number of hits.
Here's a bouncer to second. 2 down in the inning. Well, this Clippers bullpen has been nothing short of phenomenal. The starting rotation has had its ups and downs. There haven't been many downs for the bullpen. A 2.90 ERA for the pen. They have a record of 11-5. We have seen Frank Herman put together 23 straight scoreless innings. Jensen Lewis did not allow a run in his first 24 2/3 innings as a Clipper. Joe Smith, Josh Judy, Vinny Pastano up from AA Akron. They've all been good. Jeremy Sowers, the lone left-hander on the Columbus staff, is a part of this bullpen. And then Jess Todd as well. And things have been getting better for Jess Todd as well. So Mike Sarbaugh has to really like what he's gotten from the bullpen.
Oh, he does. He really doesn't hesitate. As you see here, you know, he goes to Smith right here in the 7th inning, and Smith comes on and so far has done his job. You know, he's got 11 strikeouts in 11 2/3 innings coming into the ball game, but we also see he runs that fastball down and in, especially to the right-handed hitters. Has some sink to it, and he gets a lot of ground ball outs, and he's had that for the first 2 hitters tonight.
Paul Hoover is 0 for 2 in this game, and he is now going to await a 2-ball 1-strike pitch from the right-hander Joe Smith. Right-handers have only batted 185 against Smith. Lefties have hit 353, but when he's in the bigs, he's in there to face right-handers.
Oh, he's definitely a specialist. You talk about the left-handed specialist, but there's also right-handed specialists, and that's where Joe Smith would fit in, and he's certainly doing the job here. 2-2 count on the number 8 hitter Hoover. Scott mentioned he's 0 for 2 so far. He struck out his last time up against Josh Tomlin. He was one of 3 strikeout victims that Tomlin had. The fans aren't real happy with that pitch. Good crowd here tonight.
Well, this should make it a 1-2-3 inning for Joe Smith. He comes on in the 7th and shuts him down. Time for the stretch here at Huntington Park. Clippers and Pigs tied at 2. 2-2 tie game. Bottom half of the 7th inning here in Columbus. Scott Leo and Eric Welch with you from the ballpark. Alexander Concepcion is coming on in relief for Lehigh Valley. The right-hander, 6'1", 205 pounds, from Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. And he will be on here to face Chris Jimenez. Jimenez was at the plate when Nick Weglars got picked off at first a moment ago. Jimenez, Brown, and Busher, the trio, due up. Clippers baseball on Sports Time Ohio, property of the Columbus Clippers, the International League, and the National Association of Professional Baseball Leagues, Inc. Any rebroadcast, reproduction, or retransmission in any form is prohibited.
Scott, each pitcher goes 6 innings, gives up 2 runs on 4 hits. Boy, they both were dynamic. And, of course, each one of them earned a quality start. And that's what both managers were looking for, especially Mike Sarbaugh with the Columbus Clippers. And he definitely got what he asked for, what he bargained for out of Josh Tomlin.
We'll see what Concepcion can do now, taking over for Brian Mazzone, who was every bit as good. Mazzone tonight goes 6 innings, allows 2 runs earned off of 4 hits, striking out 4 and walking 2. So both starters go 6. Both starters give up 2 runs and 4 hits.
And there's still action in each bullpen. Josh Judy is throwing for the Clippers.
Jimenez ropes one into left field. There's a leadoff single. Concepcion, by the way, making his 9th appearance of the year. 1-1 with a 4.09 ERA.
Oh, fastball down the middle, and that's what happens when you get behind 2-0 like Concepcion did. Chris Jimenez, being the veteran hitter that he is, he turns on that and puts it in play. Now we'll see if the Clippers are going to play small ball here, Scott. You know, with the big guns going up to the big league club, sometimes you have to try to manufacture runs, and this would be the time to do it. 7th inning in a 2-2 game, leadoff hitter on base, and let's see if Brown executes a sacrifice bunt or if they maybe try to hit and run.
First pitch is in for a strike to Jordan Brown. Well, this is a Clippers team that still has some pop in the lineup, but now they'll have to rely on different sources. They'll need a healthy Jordan Brown that can be the Jordan Brown that he was a year ago when he batted .336 in this league. Shoots that one to the gap. Mayberry lays out but comes up empty. So Jimenez and Brown with back-to-back base hits here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And here comes Brian Busher to the plate.
Looked like a 2-seam fastball that was running on the outside part of the plate, but it's still turned on. There you see Mayberry. An excellent effort by Mayberry. He knows that he has the right fielder coming over. He knows that ball's not hit on a line. It's more looping. So if it does get by him, it's not going to go all the way to the wall, and that the center fielder, Rich Thompson, will be able to come over and cut it off. That's the time when you make the dive, not on the line drive into gap and give them 3 bases.
So we'll see if Brian Busher can move him over or bring him in. He is 1 for 2, a base hit in the 5th with a run scored. Concepcion sets at the belt and pitches.
Oh.
He is bunting, but he fouls it back against the screen.
He fouls it back because that pitch was up in the strike zone, and he has to be a little more selective with that. Concepcion, once he saw that Busher was square, and then Busher squared early, which is fine on the sacrifice. Concepcion threw the ball up in the strike zone, and Busher was not able to get it down. Let's see if he does it again or if Sarbaugh calls it off.
He's showing bunt even before Concepcion comes to the plate. And he pops this one up towards the 3rd base side. It's going to bounce foul. Well, so much for that. Now we'll see if Busher can swing the bat and get a base hit.
Let's see how many sacrifices Busher has on the year, Scott. Looks like he has 1. But unable to do it here on the first 2 pitches of this at-bat.
Here's the 0-2. Fastball misses.
That's a pretty good pitch right there. It's not your typical 0-2 waste pitch. Here we go. It's outside. You notice that the catcher, Paul Hoover, is set up outside, and he flicks his glove just a little bit to his left, third base side.
And the 1-2. Got him. One away, and Josh Rodriguez is coming up. Clippers are not used to having to rally. This is the team that over the course of the season has scored first in already 24 games. They're 19-5 when they score first, but they are 9-14 when the opponent strikes first, and that's the case here tonight. Lehigh Valley led 1-0 in the first, 2-0 in the middle of the fifth, and the Clippers scored twice in the bottom half, and that's where we stand, tied up at 2. And we're going to get a call to the bullpen as Dave Hubbard will take the ball from Concepcion and make that signal down to the left field pin. It's a 2-2 game here in the 7th inning. Don't forget to follow the Clippers on Facebook and Twitter. You can do that by looking for us at both of those locations and through the links that are available at clippersbaseball.com, the official online home of Columbus Clippers baseball. We've also now got the broadcast links up for Facebook and Twitter pages there as well for in-game updates and roster moves and much, much more. So you can now stay in the know with the Clippers 24/7. Take a look back so far at the game. It has been the Clippers taking the field for the first time in the last 9 days. Josh Tomlin running into some trouble in the first when he walked a couple of batters, and then Andy Tracy with a base knock scoring the day's first run, giving Lehigh Valley a 1-0 lead. And then here, a home run to the bleachers in left by Brian Bocock, the number 9 batter in the lineup, the Lehigh Valley shortstop, with his first home run of the season in his 120th at bat. But then the Clippers rallying back in the bottom of the 5th. A shot to the corner to plate Jordan Brown. An RBI double for Josh Rodriguez. On this fly ball to right, Michael Brantley would bring home Busher, and that's where we stand. 2-2 here in this 7th inning.
Oscar Villarreal on the pitch, the right-hander.
Yeah, Villarreal from Nuevo Leon, Mexico. Didn't pitch last year. He was injured, had an elbow injury that cost him the 09 season, signed as a minor league free agent with the Phillies. And here he is, the 28-year-old, to face Josh Rodriguez, who had the big knock that you just saw in the 5th inning. Now we'll see here 2 innings later if he can throw another dagger. Villarreal ready and pitches and misses outside with ball 1 to the right-handed batting second baseman.
Big chance here again for Rodriguez. We saw in the highlights just now that RBI double that he had to jumpstart the Clippers play that first run, Jordan Brown, and he really turned on that pitch. Let's see if Villarreal gives him one to hit here. 2-0 now.
Alexander Concepcion retires just 1 batter, gives up 2 hits, struck out that only batter that he retired, and that was Busher a minute ago. Now it's up to Villarreal to keep this game tied. The set and the 2-0. Let's see if they can get 2. Bocock to Mazza and on to Sellers, double play. 6-4-3. That's exactly what the doctor ordered for Oscar Villarreal and for the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs. The Clippers get a couple of runners but do not score. We're tied at 2 after 7. Judy is on to pitch for the Clippers here in the 8th inning. He'll become the 3rd pitcher used in this game by Columbus. Josh Tomlin got the start, went 6 innings, allowing 2 runs off of 4 hits. Joe Smith fires a perfect 7th inning. And now here is Judy, the 6'4", 200-pound right-hander, 24 years of age. First pitch a strike to Brian Bocock. Bocock hit the home run earlier for the Iron Pigs in the top of the 5th. Judy's a guy that has the makings of a potential big league closer. Big frame, can throw hard, and last year he was in Kinston and in Akron. He ended up saving 13 games total between the two stops, and he won an Eastern League championship ring with the Arrows. Vinny Pastano was doing the closing for much of the year. Pastano got hurt. Judy went in there and saved 11 games when the Arrows needed him. 1-2 the count to Bocock.
Well, we've seen a couple of good sliders there from him. Here's another one that ties up Bocock. And remember, Bocock was the one who had the big home run from the 9-hole spot in the order. But Judy's on there. You see his numbers. This is only his 5th appearance.
Yeah, it's only his 5th appearance since coming up from Akron. Originally, the thought was he would start the year with the Clippers, but he went on the DL. Here's a called 3rd strike. Bocock is out of there. Judy went on the DL after pitching very impressively in Major League camp. He really caught the attention of Manny Acta and the Indian staff with the way he pitched in the Cactus League. Started the year on the DL, went to Akron very briefly, and now he's here in Columbus. And there's no question he's a guy that is on the radar in Cleveland.
Well, he's quality. He mixes the fastball, he mixes the changeup or the slider there. You see starting out with the fastball, then he goes 2 sliders, then he goes the fastball away, and all that Bocock can do is take it for ball or strike 3.
His fastball clocks in the low 90s. He's got that slider that's low 80s. Here's his 0-1 to Duffy. Fastball at 91 miles per hour. 1 ball, 1 strike as we get back to the top of the order here for the Phillies AAA club in a 2-2 game.
You notice Carlos Santana there taking off his mask, wiping his brow. It's still pretty hot out here.
Tried to check his swing to Duffy. That's a strike anyway. 1-2.
Oh, he definitely goes around there. Even his head comes out there, and umpire should ring him up just for that. But that was an easy call for the home plate umpire, Dan Bellino, to make.
There's a strikeout of Duffy. Back-to-back Ks here for Josh Judy in the 8th inning.
Another fastball down and away that he throws to Duffy, and he sets that up with that good slider. Here it comes. Look at that sink to it, Scott. Throws that 2-seam fastball right there. Carlos Santana ready for it. And love the way he just whips that ball around the infield after the strikeout. That's what a pitcher likes. Give him a little bit of a break there.
Judy against Rich Thompson now. Thompson's 0 for 2 in this game. Here's a foul ball back against the screen. 0 for 2 with a walk is Rich Thompson, now batting just below 300 for the year. He's now at 299, the Iron Pigs center fielder. One and one the count. Rich Thompson, the 31-year-old outfielder from Reading, Pennsylvania, now calls Tampa, Florida his home. Batted .265 last year with Lehigh Valley. Drove in 36 runs, played in 119 games with Dave Hupperd's club. As we talked about earlier, Eric, it's a very veteran Lehigh Valley team, especially when you look at the position players. A lot of guys on this club have been around a while. 2-1 pitch is lined into right field. A 2-out single for Thompson. It's the first time anybody's put a ball in play against Josh Judy tonight. John Mayberry to the plate with 2 down.
And he may have broken that bat, but he did a good job of fighting off that fastball on the inside part of the plate. There's the veteran presence of Rich Thompson, able to turn on that. There you get a good look at him. Taking off his batting gloves. Let's see if he puts on base running gloves. A lot of the players today, Scott, have the batting gloves, then the base running gloves. Looks like Thompson is going to run the bases without gloves. Sans gloves. And, well, look at Mayberry there. What a specimen he is. Of course, he has major league genealogy in him. Yes, he does. Here's a throw over to first, and back is Thompson. Dad was a little bit thicker than him. Mayberry entered play tonight with a .290 average, 7 homers, 28 ribbies. Batting in the heart of the order for the Iron Pigs. He's the 3-hitter with Andy Tracy waiting on deck. 1 on and 2 down. Boy, with these last 2 hitters, Mayberry and before him Thompson, who's over at first after the single, Josh Judy has been all around the strike zone but not getting the call. He's just got to stay with it. make his pitches. See a throw over there.
Thompson dives back in safely.
Thompson, the leading bag man for Lehigh Valley. I think we said 9 of 10 stolen bases.
Yes, sir.
So he is a threat to run, especially in a 2-2 ball game here. 2 away in the top of the 8th inning, looking to generate some offense.
Called strike. 1-1 to Mayberry. Here's where you need a bullpen that can get the job done for you in these close games. The Clippers haven't played as many close games as a lot of the teams around the league. They now are up to 9 games decided by 1 run. They're 5-4 in those. There's a strike.
There you get
1-2 the count.
Sorry about that, Scott. You get a good look at that slider. Every once in a while, he'll stay on top of that ball and get a little more downward break on it, but oftentimes it's that hard pitch that really goes right to left more away from the right-handed hitter. That time he had more downward break.
1-2 the count to Mayberry. Thompson with his lead at first, not running. Judy misses off the outside corner. 2-2.
Here you can hear the fans getting excited. They wanted that pitch. They thought that should have been strike 3 out of the inning. Clippers come to the plate, but just a little bit outside.
Hodges trying to hold the runner on at first. There's a throw over. I'll tell you what's tough, being a position player in the Phillies farm system right now, a team that I believe opened the season with 8 all-stars in the lineup, including their opening day pitcher. I think the one exception was Carlos Ruiz, who's a pretty darn good player himself. It's tough to be a minor leaguer when your big league club is stocked like that. There aren't a lot of job openings.
No, there really isn't. And that's one of the reasons why, Scott, that you see a lot of veteran players up here, more organizational types, those guys who are ready to step in. If there's an injury up there, you see there, the slider away, and Mayberry is able to turn on it. Hitting coaches don't like to see you turn on that, want to see you hit it more in the gap, but Mayberry was able to get that hit. But that's what you see with Lehigh Valley. You see guys who are ready to come up if there's an injury and fill in if need be.
2 on base, 2 down after the Mayberry knock. Santana out to the mound to talk to Judy before Andy Tracy steps in. Well, I think it's safe to say anything shy of a World Series appearance will be a severe disappointment in the city of brotherly love. Ryan Howard at first, Chase Utley at second. They've got Victorino, Worth, and Ibanez in the outfield. Ruiz behind the plate. Placido Polanco over at third. Starting rotation's not too shabby either. It's a good Phillies team. Here's a look at what's coming up at Huntington Park. Memorial Day, a doubleheader against Louisville. Uncle Sam will be here. Rally towels on June 1st. Can you believe the month of June is closing in? Fly ball to center. Brantley is there, and we will go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. Josh Judy allowed a couple of runners aboard, but strikes out 2 and gets a fly out of Andy Tracy. Middle of the 8th, 2-2. Top of the order for the Clippers in a 2-2 game. Michael Brantley will lead it off. Brantley, Bixler, and Santana. Scott Leo and Eric Welch with you from the ballpark tonight. We're glad you're tuned in. Clippers baseball here on Sports Time, Ohio. Opening game of an 8-game homestand for Columbus. Brantley showing bunt, pulling it back. It's in there for a strike.
Well, this is the time to make hay for the Clippers, Scott. As you mentioned, 2-2 ball game here in the 8th inning, top of the order. Time to get someone on, as you saw Brantley square on that first pitch. Looks like Jensen Lewis is throwing in the bullpen for the Clippers.
Brantley skies this one to center, but Rich Thompson is there. For Lehigh Valley, Oscar Villarreal staying on for another inning of work. Came on in the 7th to take over for Alexander Concepcion, his fellow reliever. The start tonight went to left-hander Brian Mazzone. He went 6 innings for the visitors from Allentown, Pennsylvania. Here's the pitch. It's outside for ball one to Brian Bixler. They've got a great ballpark over there near Allentown. They draw from Allentown and Easton, PA, and Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, which is the training camp home of the Philadelphia Eagles. There's a chopper foul off Bixler's bat, 1-1.
Well, for the longest time, Scott, there was really no connection to AAA affiliate and Major League club in the International League, but now we see that in most instances that the AAA affiliate is relatively close. Cleveland, right here with Columbus. Lehigh Valley, very close to Philadelphia.
Louisville for Cincinnati. Indianapolis, not a bad drive for Pittsburgh fans if they want to shoot across the Buckeye State and go over and see the Indianapolis Indians over at Victory Field.
Gwinnett moving down to North Atlanta.
Yep. There's a bouncer just past the mound. Coming to get it is Mazza. Hustling down the line is Bixler. They're going to call him out. Whoa, no. It looked like Bixler beat it, and this crowd of over 9,000 here at Huntington Park letting first base umpire Chris Backey hear about it. Here's the replay.
Great play by Mazza, but great hustle by Bixler. And there you go. It looks like maybe he just got him by a step. And I tell you what, Bixler stepped on the back half of the back. You have to run through the front part of the base. And there's Mike Sarbaugh giving that first base umpire an earful.
Mike Sarbaugh and Chris Backey talking it over. Sarbaugh thinks that Bixler beat it. Here's another look. Ooh, it's awfully close in real time.
Which is what the umpire Chris Backey gets to see. He doesn't get all the replays we have, does he? That's actually just a gentlemanly conversation there.
So the skipper heads back over towards third base. Is now the time to point out that Mike Sarbaugh has not been ejected from a game this year?
Well, I think it is, and you see why there. He was very calm about it. He wanted to get the first base umpire's opinion on what he saw there. And, you know, Scott, you're never going to win those arguments. Rarely have I seen an umpire talked into a call. Now, he may ask for some help, but in that situation, that's not one where an umpire's going to try to get some help from his crew.
Carlos Santana to the plate with 2 down here in the home half of the 8th inning. In a 2-2 game, Villarreal sets and pitches. Big cut by Santana, but he comes up empty. Carlos is 1 for 3 tonight. A single way back in the first.
Well, and this is the first time we've seen Carlos hit left-handed. He batted right-handed 3 times against the lefty Mazzone.
Looks at a ball low and in.
Well, and this is where probably going to see Villarreal not give Santana too much to hit. He doesn't want to get beat, so to speak, by the best Columbus Clipper hitter. He's going to take his chances with Wes Hodges on deck.
Santana is 7 for 19 this year against Lehigh Valley pitching. Big cut here. 1 ball, 2 strikes to the top prospect in the Cleveland Indians organization. The question will continue to be asked. When does this young man get the call to the next level? Last year he stayed in Double-A for the entire year. Got 428 at-bats with Akron. Fly ball to center. Rich Thompson has to drift back, but that'll be a 1-2-3 inning.
Did you see the shortstop, Brian Bocock? He had his hands in the air. He thought he was going to make the catch out behind second base.
He wasn't sure where the ball was. Luckily for Lehigh Valley, Rich Thompson saw it. We go to the 9th inning, 2-2. Pitcher on for the Clippers as we go to the 9th inning. Mike Sarbaugh hands the baseball off to Jensen Lewis, and we are tied at 2 in front of a crowd of 9,012 here at Huntington Park tonight. Great turnout, as always, here at the ballpark. Last year, the Clippers not only led the entire nation in minor league baseball attendance, but they also set the Columbus franchise record. How about that haircut? Did you see it? Wow.
I can't pull that one off, Scott.
First pitch from Lewis. Taken for a ball by Cody Ransom. He's 0 for 3 tonight. Ransom, Mazza, and Sellers coming up for Lehigh Valley. Lewis with that herky-jerky leg kick and gets a high pop-up. That one will carry into right where Jensen Lewis will make the play, moving towards the line. Rushes at Chris Jimenez, and that'll be out number 1. So Jensen Lewis retires the first batter he faces, and now it'll be Mazza.
Well, one of the things we've seen here with the Clippers since they've gone to the bullpen is they've been able to get the first hitter. There you see he pulls off the pitch, Ransom does, and watch Jimenez when he comes in. Everybody's going out, and he says, oh, get away, it's all mine, and is able to tuck that away. Great effort there by the whole right side of the field for the Clippers.
There's a pop foul out of play by Mazza. It's 0-1. Jensen Lewis has a 2.08 ERA through 6 previous appearances out of the Columbus pen. 8 2/3 innings, 2 earned runs, 9 hits, a 2.73 average against for the right-hander from Cincinnati, although he split his childhood between Medina and Cincinnati. So when he was going to school in Cincy, he's the pride of Anderson High School in Cincinnati, the Redskins. He said he was the only guy walking the halls with a Cleveland Indians jersey on or sporting the Bernie Kosar Browns jersey, while everybody else was talking Reds and Bengals.
Well, he's definitely in the right organization, man.
It's a late swing and a foul ball.
Catcher's interference.
I heard it. Mazza got the glove of Santana. Carlos Santana's in some pain. Mazza will be awarded first base, so catcher's interference charged to Carlos Santana, and the go-ahead run is aboard here for Lehigh Valley. Here's another look.
You see Santana reaching forward, and that pitch is away, and he's just trying to spoil it, and what he does when he reaches back and just flicks the glove. Goodness, that's a tough break for the Clippers.
Jensen Lewis gave up a run this year for the first time ever as a Clipper. Between 2009 and 2010, wearing a Columbus Clippers uniform, he had not allowed a single run. First pitch, a strike here to Neil Sellers. That was a stretch of 24 2/3 innings between June 29th of last year and May 19th of this year. That's a pretty good stretch.
That's a really good stretch and streak.
Pitch taken down and away here.
Luis Mazza over on first base. Clippers are going to have to keep him close. This is a situation where he might take off, although he only has 1 bag in 1 attempt.
Mazza, the soon-to-be 30-year-old from Venezuela, hustles back to the bag on the throw over.
Lewis didn't let him stray too far. Yeah, let him get out there and get set and turn and pick him off.
Here's the pitch. Fouled back. 1-2 the count to the Lehigh Valley first baseman. Sellers looking for a 2-hit night if he can come up with something here. Singled back in the 5th inning, but then was thrown out trying to stretch it into a double. Nick Weglar's gunned him down.
Looks like Ryan Vogelsong is throwing down in the bullpen for the Iron Pigs.
The Clippers bullpen is quiet as Lewis tries to get this game to the bottom of the 9th. Pitch taken upstairs. Jensen Lewis throws a fastball and has a change as well, and he really does a nice job of setting the tempo, so to speak. He's the aggressor on the mound, and if you're going to hit him, you're going to have to do it on his terms. Here comes that 2-2 pitch, and it's now 3 balls and 2 strikes. He doesn't usually beat himself, as they say.
No, and that was a pretty good pitch right there, just a little bit up and off the plate. I think if he gets it down a little bit more or in a little bit more, he gets the benefit of that call. 3 balls and 2 strikes, only 1 away here, but look for Mazza to try to get a jump, get a break. Good time to throw over. Nope, he doesn't go.
There's a fly ball hit towards right. Moving towards the line is Jimenez. 2 down. With the 2 outs recorded in this one for Jensen Lewis, he's up to 9 1/3 innings. He's only walked one batter over that time. The International League, as I said, batting .273 against him, and now he will face Paul Hoover, the catcher.
Lehigh Valley back to twin arms in the bullpen. We mentioned the righty Vogelsong down there. Now left-hander. Looks like Mike Zagurski is throwing.
Throw over to first, and back to the bag goes Mazza. There's a called strike. Wes Hodges, Nick Weglars, Chris Jimenez set to bat in the bottom of the 9th for the Clippers. If Jensen Lewis can slam the door shut here, then a run would win it.
And Scott, you mentioned the last time the Clippers were on STO. Game-winning walk-off home run.
Yeah, Jimenez in the 10th inning against Louisville back on April 13th. Shelley Duncan sent that game into extra innings with an RBI single in the 9th, and then Jimenez ended it with that solo blast. The Clippers have had 4 last-at-bat victories this year. There's a ground ball foul past third base.
Of course, we better not put the cart before the horse here. Jensen Lewis has to get out of this top of the 9th inning. Luis Mazza over on first base.
Jensen Lewis, 6'3", 220 pounds, the 26-year-old. When he was optioned down, Manny Acta said, "We're not really sending him down due to lack of performance. We're sending him down because he has options left, and we have to make a move." Here's a fly ball to center, and Michael Brantley will send us to the last of the 9th inning. A run will win it for Mike Sarbaugh's Clippers. We are tied at 2 after 8 1/2 at Huntington Park. It is a great night in downtown Columbus as the Clippers play what has been a rarity, a home game. The Clippers have played 16 of their last 20 on the road coming into tonight, but 16 of the next 20, starting with this evening, are right here in the Arena District. And Wes Hodges is set to lead it off for Columbus in the bottom of the 9th. Hodges, Weglars, and Jimenez due up, and Dave Huppert will go back to his bullpen. He'll bring on the left-hander, Mike Zagurski. Zagurski, the pride of Omaha, Nebraska. The 27-year-old southpaw, 6 feet tall, 225 pounds. Last year split time between Class A Clearwater and Double A Reading. Out behind home plate, or out from behind home plate, goes Paul Hoover, the catcher. Looked like, I don't know what he was doing. He bent down and he was adjusting the shin guards or something.
Well, I think Zagurski was having trouble seeing his fingers, so what he did was he dipped his hand down in the white chalk so that Zagurski could see him better. There you get a good glimpse of it looking straight in. Here his fingers are showing a little bit more.
Yep, sure did. Went over and picked up a little bit of that chalk to help Zagurski. Here comes the 1-0 from the lefty, high and tight, 2 balls and no strikes.
You know, watching Zagurski warm up in the bullpen, Scott, he looked like he was having some control problems, and then when he came in and threw his 8 pitches that he was permitted as a new reliever in the game, didn't throw too many around the strike zone, so let's see if the Clippers can use that to their advantage.
Zagurski is on for the 20th time this year. Hodges takes a big hack and fouls it back. Zagurski 0-2 with a 3.40 ERA. 30 strikeouts, 8 walks over 20 innings. The league batting .234 off of him. The Clippers have, as we said, already played Lehigh Valley 4 times this year, so they've seen just about everybody that Dave Huppert can throw out there. Zagurski's pitching in his 3rd game against the Clippers this year. 3 runs allowed in his first 2 innings of work against Columbus, but they were all unearned runs. Hodges pops this one up. Hoover takes off the mask, and he'll watch it land in the club seats.
That was about 2 rows from my young son, 10-year-old Tyler Welch. Oh, he's asking for the ball now.
He's saying, hey, throw that thing over to me.
If he'd have been paying attention, he could have made the play, but
that ball bounced up off the stairs down in the club area, and then folks started reaching for it. They were volleying it all around.
A great souvenir to be had. Well, it's amazing what people will do for a baseball that is hit into the stands. 2-2 pitch, and that ball is yanked down the line, foul. Someone got a souvenir. What a great catch by that fan right down the line. Did he catch that from his belly?
2-2 here to Hodges. Wes is 0 for 3 on the night. The Clippers were down in Charlotte for their last 4 games. I saw something that would be a first for me. There was a foul ball hit into the seats behind the first base dugout. Here's Hodges on a fly to right, and Mayberry's there, 1 away. That will bring Weglars back to the dish. Foul ball hit into the seats behind the first base dugout. Gentleman doesn't get up from his seat, just reaches over, picks it up off the ground where it had ricocheted over near him. Proceeds to stand up and throw it back out onto the field to the first base coach, Lee May Jr., as if they were going to put that ball back in play. Lee May caught it, looked at it, kind of gave the gentleman an odd look, and then turned and flipped it to a different fan.
Did the first gentleman go get a snow cone like back in Little League days, turn it into the concession stand?
First pitch in for a strike to Weglars. You know, usually at the ballpark, you see folks that will do anything to get a foul ball.
Oh, most
this guy
certainly
got one and seemed completely disinterested.
He didn't think it was a home run, did he? Did he realize where he was sitting? Yeah, oftentimes in big leagues, you hear him yell out in the stands, throw it back when an opponent hits a home run. Simple foul ball, huh?
Yeah, he looked it over and thought, well, this one's not scuffed up. Maybe they can keep using it. There's a strike to Weglars.
He's doing anything he can to help the local club, huh? He wants to make sure they succeed down there in Charlotte.
Weglars 0 for 2 of the walk, and the crowd is not happy about that strike call from our plate umpire, Dan Bellino. Zagurski, the left-hander, back to work here with a 1-2 pitch, and Weglars takes outside 2-2. A little bit of a mock cheer from the crowd on that one.
Well, as usual, the Clippers fans are into the game. That's what you have to like about them. They'll let an umpire know if they disagree with the call.
The 2-2, late swing and a strikeout. Well, it's up to Chris Jimenez to try and win this without extra innings needed here at Huntington Park. Here's a look at the late swing there by Weglars. A very stiff swing as well by the big fella.
Yeah, it was. I think he was surprised by that fastball, and that was in a good spot, or a tough spot to hit, actually, for the hitter. Good spot for the pitcher, Zagurski, but give him credit. He made the pitch when he had to.
Chris Jimenez, 1 for 3. Pop up, fly out, and a base knock in the 7th inning. A single to left. Zagurski delivers, and it's upstairs for a ball. Jimenez batting 6th and playing in right field tonight. Jordan Brown will bat next if Jimenez can reach. Here's the 1-0. There's a foul ball back and out of play onto the roof. Well, as we said, Jimenez was the hero during a game on Sports Time Ohio back on April 13th. He would love nothing more than to send this 9,000 plus crowd here at Huntington Park home with something to cheer about.
And I wondered as he was walking to the plate, I was watching him, I wondered if that's what he was thinking about.
There's a foul right off the end of his bat. May have got his foot, and it did. He'll hop out of there and limp around a little bit. That ball hit off the top of his right foot, I believe.
Well, you've seen that a couple of times tonight with hitters. Anytime you have a righty throw into a lefty, usually it's when a lefty is throwing to a righty and that ball is bearing in on them, that they get it on it too quickly and foul it straight down off the foot, and boy, that really hurts.
Two strikes on Jimenez. He'll have to protect that plate a bit. Here it comes. Takes inside.
Pretty tough pitch to take there on 0-2. But does a good job. He's up there at the plate with a pretty good batting eye, doing everything he can to extend this 9th inning.
Zagurski's not what you would call your typical soft-tossing lefty. That was at 92. He's been around 93 a couple times. Took some off there, and he'll get Jimenez to retire the side in the 9th inning. A 1-2-3 frame for the southpaw Zagurski. We go to extras here at Huntington Park, tied at 2. Some free baseball here at Huntington Park as we go to extra innings in game 1 of this series. Columbus and Lehigh Valley back at it tomorrow night for a 7:05 first pitch, and then on Saturday 7:05 as well. Sunday's game will go at 5:05. So as we get into the Memorial Day weekend, the Cleveland Indians and Philadelphia Phillies top farm clubs are going to be going head-to-head here in Columbus. Jensen Lewis stays on for a 2nd inning of relief work. First pitch blown right by the right-handed batter. This is Melvin Dorda, who gets into the lineup here in extra innings. He will pinch hit for Dave Huppert. Former Clipper, by the way. Dorda was here during the Washington Nationals days when he was a Nationals farmhand and the Clippers were their AAA team. Got an email in from Marilyn Johnson, who is watching the game from Phoenix and enjoying it. Wanted to know about our Ohio Credit Union trivia question tonight. Derek Jeter, the only Clipper of the year to also win a Rookie of the Year award in the big leagues. She said, I thought he came from the Yankees farm club. Can you tell me how the minor league system works? Well, for 28 years, the Clippers were the New York Yankees AAA affiliate, and then aligned with the Washington Nationals for 2 years, and now the top farm club for the Cleveland Indians. So when you go out to the left field building, the AEP Power Pavilion here at Huntington Park, and you go through the 2nd floor Hall of Fame bar, and you look at a lot of the names and faces from Clippers history, you'll find Pittsburgh Pirates studs like Willie Stargell from you know, when the Columbus Jets were here, and then 1977 and 78 the Clippers were aligned with the Pirates. And then obviously a lot of Yankees, Derek Jeter, Jorge Posada, Mariano Rivera, Bernie Williams, all those guys played in Columbus. A couple of years with the Nationals, and now year number 2 of what you'd have to think is going to be a long marriage with the Cleveland Indians. Just makes a lot of sense.
Boy, it certainly does, and it really has worked out tremendously. A lot of Cleveland Indian fans here in Central Ohio. That's a great question, Marilyn. But obviously, you know, those 28 years and the farm system that the Yankees had with those great players. You know, Don Mattingly played in Columbus. He's another Yankee great that came up through this system. So, you know, it can be a little bit confusing. We've talked about how some of the teams have moved around. You know, Lehigh Valley is a new franchise for the most part. The Phillies moved from Scranton-Wilkes-Barre to Lehigh Valley. So there is a lot of movement at the minor league level with affiliates.
There wasn't a lot of movement within the International League until just a couple of years ago. Here's a fly ball to right. Jimenez will make the play. Dorda is out, number 1. So Dorda is out, and now for Lehigh Valley, we'll go back to the top of their order. Here comes their left fielder, Chris Duffy. If you look back at the International League, and it's been around forever, 2nd longest league there is behind the National League, the modern era of the IL, things had been pretty consistent in terms of player development contracts between these teams and the major league teams. But then a few years ago, the domino effect started. The Phillies were able to get that ballpark built in Allentown, so they went from Scranton to Ottawa for a year and then to Allentown. The Yankees left from Columbus and went to Scranton-Wilkes-Barre. The Baltimore Orioles got into Norfolk to play at Harbor Park with the Norfolk Tides as their AAA team.
Which is where the Mets had been for a while.
Yep. The Nationals had been in New Orleans, which is in the Pacific Coast League. They came to Columbus for 2 years. They're now in Syracuse, where the Blue Jays had been. Now the Blue Jays are in Las Vegas. Stay with me. There's going to be a quiz later. The Mets went to Buffalo when the Indians vacated to come to Columbus. So there are 30 cities that have the okay from minor league and Major League Baseball to have AAA clubs. There are 30 major league cities. So everybody is going to have a dance partner. It's just a matter of seeing who's with whom when the music stops. Here's a called third strike, and gone is Duffy, and the crowd here loves it as Jensen Lewis retires the first 2 batters of this 10th.
Second straight strikeout by Duffy, but he did not expect. You can tell he was guessing up there. Look at first pitch was a breaking ball, then a fastball up that he fouled off, fastball up that he fouled off, and now you're going to see a fastball right down Broadway there. I'm not sure what he was thinking on that. Little two-seam fastball, you see it running away from the left-handed hitter.
This is only the 4th extra innings game that the Clippers have played in this year. Columbus is 2-1. It's already the 6th extra innings game for Dave Huppert's Iron Pigs. They are 1-4 in extra frames. Rich Thompson, you see it there, 1 for 3 with a base knock. That was in the 8th inning. By the way, one of the extra innings games between these teams was head-to-head on May 9th, a 4-3 10 innings win for the Clippers. Saul Rivera got the win that day, beating Aaron Wasserman for Lehigh Valley. Rivera has since been traded to Arizona, going on the big league roster with the Diamondbacks. Jensen Lewis with a 1-1 pitch. There's a chopper towards first, but foul. 1-2.
There Lewis was moving over. We talked an inning or two about how the ball hit to the right side of the infield. The pitcher has to get over to cover. And Jensen Lewis doing his job, but it's not needed because that was strike 2. But now he takes a deep breath and he's going to try to put away the left-handed hitting Rich Thompson.
Here it is, the 1-2 pitch. Line shot over the outstretched arm of Bixler and into that left center field gap. It'll be cut off by Weglars. He's going for 2, and he'll be there. The throw is cut off by Bixler. A 2-out double for Thompson, his 2nd hit of the night.
And 2nd hit in a row, and this was a double right out of the box. If we had a shot of him coming out of the batter's box, he was flying because he knew that that was in that right center or left center field gap where both fielders were going to have to go over. And his whole goal here, especially with 2 outs in this inning, in extra innings, is to get to second base, get yourself in scoring position. There's a great shot. So he's thinking double all the way. See how he comes out, now he hits the inside of the bag, and he's going straight for second base, makes it easily.
Rich Thompson racking up his 5th double of the year. Carlos Santana out to chat with Jensen Lewis here in the 10th inning. Game tied at 2 between the Clippers and Iron Pigs. We're glad you're with us tonight. As always, we invite your emails on the broadcast. Clippers TV at clippersbaseball.com. Clippers TV at clippersbaseball.com, our email address to drop us a line. Always enjoy hearing from you. Some activity down in that Columbus bullpen now. That's Jess Todd who's throwing down there. First pitch, a ball to John Mayberry. He's 1 for 4.
I've seen a pattern here. If you're a Clipper pitcher, your first name starts with a J, you're coming in this ball game. We have had Josh, Joe.
We had Josh Tomlin.
Josh.
He started.
Yep. Then we had
Joe Smith.
Josh
Judy.
Jensen
Lewis. And now Jess Todd.
There you go.
You think that's how Charlie Nagy puts this thing together?
I think he's a little smarter than that, Scott. That's how you and I would put it together. All right, everybody with a J, you're in the bullpen tonight. Nagy knows exactly what he's doing down there.
For what it's worth, folks that come out on Saturday will see Genmar Gomez, who's in the rotation as well. Here's a shot to right field, and Jimenez will make the catch, but that's Jimenez with a G, not with a J. So we will go to the bottom of the 10th inning. Jensen Lewis able to get through it. We're tied at 2. The AEP Power Pavilion lit up tonight here at Huntington Park. We go to the bottom of the 10th inning here at the ballpark, and we are tied at 2. The Clippers getting 2 runs in the bottom half of the 5th inning, erasing the deficit. Lehigh Valley got a run in the 1st and another in the 5th. Jordan Brown leading off this inning for Columbus. Brown has a couple of hits today. Base knocks in the 5th and again in the 7th. The reigning IL batting champ takes inside. Brett Patton checking in by email. Great job on the broadcast. I assume he's talking to you, Eric.
Did he specify which broadcast he was talking about?
Here's a ground ball, base hit into left field. That's the way you start it. Jordan Brown with a 3-hit game.
3 straight hits, and his first time up, he flew out to center field and didn't hit that ball too badly. And, you know, we talked about reigning International League batting champion. That's how you get it done right there. Pitch on the outside part of the plate, flip that ball into left field, get that leadoff hitter on. We're going to see a pinch runner.
Yep, we're going to see Jose Constanza out of the dugout, and this is where Mike Sarbaugh really does have some aces in his back pocket. He can bring Constanza on a night like tonight off the bench. Great speed. Constanza on the season has stolen 7 bases in 7 tries. Last year he set the Akron Arrows franchise record when he stole 49 bases in AA.
He can definitely run, but Scott, it's going to be tough with the left-hander Zagurski here. He's got to get a good read off of him.
The left-handed batter Busher gets down a bunt. Here's the spin and the throw to second, and they are going to get Constanza. Yes, they will. Holding on to the baseball is the shortstop, and that will be out number 1. That's Melvin Dorda at short. He took over there after batting for Bocock in the top of the 10th. Constanza with a hard slide in there trying to jar the ball loose, but to no avail.
Boy, he certainly did his job there. He kept him out of the double play. But the key is, with a runner on first base, the first baseman is holding that runner on. Get the ball down the first baseline. Make him come all the way in, and then you usually don't even have a play at second base as we see a pitching change coming.
Yeah, we're going to see a change coming for Lehigh Valley. Brian Busher now twice has tried to lay down bunts tonight and has failed on both occasions. We've got a CDG Wireless call to the bullpen. CDG Wireless on Cleveland Avenue here in Columbus is the official mobile phone provider of the Columbus Clippers. If you need a phone, stop up there on Cleveland Avenue and see the folks at CDG Wireless. They are outstanding. We're going to see a right-hander coming on. Brian Gordon will toe the rubber, the pride of West Point, New York, who now calls Round Rock, Texas his home. Last year pitched in the Texas Rangers farm system with AAA Oklahoma City. Pitched in 43 games with the Oklahoma City Redhawks. 7-3 with a 3.49 ERA. 6 feet tall, 190 pounds. So he is on here with Josh Rodriguez coming to the plate. Brian Busher is the runner at first. And we'll need Rodriguez to work a little bit of his magic that he displayed in the 5th inning when he stroked a double to left field, driving home a run. The Clippers have seen good production this year on most nights from the bottom part of their order, and they would love to see it here.
Well, and they certainly have tonight. You look at this, 7, 8, 9. Jordan Brown, 3 hits for the 7-hole hitter. 1 hit for Brian Busher. And of course, you mentioned he couldn't get the bunts down. 2 different at-bats. Struck out the first time in this inning. He bunted into a fielder's choice. And then the double, as you mentioned, from Rodriguez. They've been making the at-bats count. And let's see if they can do it against Gordon right here. Put this game away and send it home. There is action in the Clipper bullpen. So if this goes to an 11th inning, that's going to be it for Jensen Lewis, I would think.
Yeah, I would say so. Lewis has been very good again tonight, though. 2 innings, allowing just 1 hit and striking out a batter. So Gordon comes on for Lehigh Valley. He's the 5th pitcher used tonight by the Iron Pigs. Mazzone started and went 6. Concepcion a 3rd. Villarreal an inning and 2/3. Zagurski 1 1/3. And now Gordon. Here you get a look at the Josh Rodriguez RBI double back in the 5th inning. They got the Clippers on the board, and then the guy waiting on deck, Michael Brantley, hit a sac fly to score the 2nd run of that inning. Gordon's first pitch, a beauty, in there for a strike.
Well, and that double got Rodriguez off the interstate. Scott, coming into the ballgame, he was hitting 176 or I-76. Now he's up to 200 and looking to keep it climbing even further here. Of course, that's with limited at-bats with the ball club.
Here comes the 0-1. Swing and a miss. So once you get into the 200s, you're off the interstate, then you're on the bypass, right?
Then you're on the bypass, exactly. But your goal is to get up to 300, which would be those little spurs that move off into different directions in the city. That's his goal.
There you go.
Once you get up into the 600s, like 670, which runs very near the ballpark, Hall of Fame territory.
Absolutely.
Right there, wouldn't you think? Straight to the Hall of Fame.
If you're coming from the west, you can jump on 670. It'll bring you right to Neal Avenue, and you're home free to watch some Clippers baseball, right?
Exactly. That's the goal.
1-2 now to Rodriguez. 1 for 3 tonight. The middle infield for the Clippers has been a little bit of a revolving door so far this season. Jason Donald went to the big leagues. Newman Romero traded to the Red Sox. Rodriguez comes up from Double-A. Bixler's been bouncing around, had a brief stint on the disabled list. Anderson Hernandez has been here from the get-go. He was a waiver claim during spring training by the Indians. Got him from the New York Mets. We'll see what Rodriguez is doing here on this 2-ball, 2-strike pitch coming from the right-hander Brian Gordon. Here it is. Ball 3.
Of course, you mentioned Jason Donald. He homered earlier in the week. First big league home run, I believe.
Yes, it is. Making his big league debut here in 2010.
Hats off to him. That's tremendous. Has to be a great feeling.
He was batting in the 2-hole when he was here in Columbus, and I said it several times. During the time he was here, he was probably the most valuable player for this team. Swing and a miss. Rodriguez a big cut on the 3-2, and he's gone. So with 2 down, back to the top of the order for Michael Brantley. Here's another look at it.
That's a tough pitch there on the outside part of the plate. And Rodriguez pulled off of it. He didn't stay on it and try to hit it into that right center field gap. Tried to pull another one down the left field line like he did earlier for the double. Couldn't catch up to it.
Michael Brantley 0 for 2, does have a sacrifice fly and a ribby. The 23-year-old Brantley, as we all know, acquired in 08 as the player to be named later in the CC Sabathia trade. Last year was with the Clippers for basically the entire minor league season, 116 games here, and then got the September call up to the bigs, played in 28 games. He was better in the bigs than he was here, batted .313 while he was in Cleveland.
Yeah, he definitely made an impression.
Yes, he did.
With the big league ball club.
Let's see if he can make an impression on this crowd here at Huntington Park tonight. A throw over to first by Gordon, and Busher is back. Boy, this crowd's getting a bit anxious, aren't they? First throw over to first base, and they're already booing.
I think they're thinking that there's no way the Clippers can win the ball game if the ball is going that way. Throw the ball to Brantley, let him get a double. Score Busher, get out of here with another win.
Here's the 1-0. 2 balls and no strikes.
Pretty close pitch right there. Good eye by Brantley. That explains it.
A full moon here in Columbus. That thing's sitting low tonight, just over some of the buildings beyond the center field batter's eye. There's a strike. 2 balls and a strike to Brantley. It was a hot, sticky afternoon, but it's turned out to be a gorgeous evening.
Oh, it really is tremendous. Still a bit warm, not hot anymore, but beautiful evening. Everybody in shorts and t-shirts.
That's the way it should be at the ballpark. 2-1 pitch, hit in the air towards left field. This is tailing foul. Will it make it to the seats? You betcha. Into the front row.
Did he catch that ball? I think he cut by him.
Sure did.
He had an opportunity. Couldn't come up with it.
And it was seen by our audience on Sports Time Ohio. He'll never live it down.
No, he won't. He's probably getting text messages already.
2-2 the count to Brantley. Taps the bat on the plate. Waves it a couple of times. He'll pull that bat up over the left shoulder and wait on the pitch from Brian Gordon. Here it is, and he popped it up. Chris Duffy in left. And we will go to an 11th inning here at Huntington Park. The Clippers and the Iron Pigs tied at 2. Tied at 2 after 10 innings tonight here at Huntington Park. The Clippers trying to get back in the win column after losing 3 out of 4 in Charlotte. It was a 4-4 road trip for Mike Sarbaugh's Clippers. They've played 500 ball now over their last 12 games, but remain on the season 9 games better than the even mark at 28-19. Josh Tomlin got the start tonight, went 6 innings. He was matched by the efforts of Lehigh Valley left-hander Brian Mazzone. 6 innings each gave up 2 runs, each gave up 4 hits, and the bullpens have been dynamite. We go to the 11th here, and the Clippers will bring on another right-hander. This time it's Jess Todd from Longview, Texas. The 24-year-old is on for the 19th time, a 3.63 ERA, a 1-2 record. He'll face Andy Tracy. First pitch fastball in for a strike. Tracy, Ransom, and Mazza due up. The 0-1. Chopper foul. 0-2 the count.
He fouled that ball off the instep of his right foot. We've talked about that several times. I think it's the third time we've seen that tonight. Where he's walking away, grimacing just a little bit.
Andy Tracy played baseball at Bowling Green State University, but also suited up as a punter on the football team in the Mid-American Conference. There's a ball, 1-2. Richard in Youngstown watching the game tonight. We were talking about the great nicknames in minor league baseball. He said, if you think Iron Pigs are bad, how about the Savannah Sand Gnats?
The Sand Gnats.
He said at one time they made a lot of steel in the Lehigh Valley, so the name is most likely pig iron reversed. And Richard, you're exactly right. That's where the name comes from. Here's a base hit to right field, so Tracy has a leadoff single. So from pig iron, they come up with Iron Pigs, and Andy Tracy gives the Pigs their 8th hit of the night. The leadoff man is on against Jess Todd.
Boy, he turned on that pitch, and you get a good glimpse of the right fielder out there, Chris Jimenez, and the Clippers right now are in their no doubles defense. They didn't want to let anything get by the outfielders that would translate into a double. There you see Jimenez back a little bit. Now they'll come in just a little bit more than they were, since that go-ahead run is now over at first base. And we'll see if Cody Ransom here bunts Tracy over.
He is swinging away. Big cut and a miss.
Yeah, usually you're not going to have that 5-hole hitter. He does have 10 home runs on the year, 31 runs batted in, even though he's hitting 229. Dave Huppert, the manager for Lehigh Valley, is thinking maybe he's going to hit the long ball here. And of course, Jess Todd working hard to keep him from doing that. You saw that 86-mile-an-hour pitch on the outside part of the plate.
Todd has allowed 4 homers over 22 1/3. The league batting .239 off of him as he gets a swing and a miss here from Ransom, and it's an 0-2 count.
That's a good curveball there.
I've got a couple more for you. How about the Double-A club of the Tampa Bay Rays, the Montgomery Biscuits?
The Biscuits.
That's a good one, right? There's now down in Kentucky the Bowling Green Hot Rods, and the club that just went to Richmond to play at the Diamond, where the Braves AAA club used to be. How about the Richmond Flying Squirrels? That's some good stuff, right?
That is really good stuff. Great breaking ball.
Ransom tried to check his swing, and Jess Todd gets the strikeout.
Talk about good stuff. Good stuff on the nicknames, but this is a great breaking ball. Outside part of the plate. It's what you want to see on an 0-2 pitch. Something out of the zone. Ransom can't hold up on that. And Jess Todd did exactly what he needed to in that situation. Get the strikeout. Now with one away, he can go for a ground ball off the bat of Luis Mazza and try to get the Clippers into the dugout with a double play.
Here's a throw over to first, and back to the bag goes Tracy. The Richmond Flying Squirrels, by the way, Double-A affiliate of the San Francisco Giants.
So the Giants are keeping that as far away from San Francisco as possible, Flying Squirrels. Of course, the Lansing Lugnuts, you may have mentioned that one earlier, but
yeah, Midwest League.
Yeah, Cincinnati Reds, at least at one time.
Here's a strike. There are some great nicknames. Well, I was employed by a team called the Roosters at one time.
Richmond Roosters
Yep.
of the Frontier League. I was with the Chillicothe Paints as a coach, Zanesville Grays as a manager and coach.
Here's the 0-1. Low and away to Mazza. Luis Mazza, the second baseman, batting 6th in the lineup tonight. He is 0 for 3 in this game. We are in the 11th inning in a 2-2 tie. Mazza now batting .229 for the year. He's left a couple of guys stranded out there in his at-bats. Here's a base hit to left field. A 1-out single, and now the Iron Pigs have him at first and second with only 1 out. The first baseman, Neil Sellers, is coming up. By the way, for the Clippers, we saw Jose Constanza come on to run for Jordan Brown. Brown was the DH, so Constanza will just occupy that designated hitter's role now. So no defensive changes for Columbus, except for the pitcher, despite the pinch runner in the bottom of the 10th.
Good look at the hitter now, Neil Sellers. Sellers on the night is 1 for 4. He had a single back in the 5th inning, and remember, he hit that ball off the wall, and Nick Weglar's out there playing his first game in Huntington Park, did a great job of digging that off the warning track and throwing Sellers out at second base.
First pitch, a strike to Neil Sellers. Sellers 4 for 11 coming into tonight against Clippers pitching. He has 1 hit in 4 plate appearances in this one. The 0-1 from Jess Todd. Misses high. Now, Todd came over last year by trade from the St. Louis Cardinals. He was acquired in the Mark DeRosa deal. When he came to Columbus, he had been pitching for the Cardinals AAA club, Memphis, the Memphis Redbirds of the PCL. He was leading the Pacific Coast League in saves when he was traded. He had 24 saves in Memphis. The 1-1 is bounced through the left side. The lead runner, Andy Tracy's going to be waved around. Here comes the throw from Weglars to the plate, and Santana applies the tag, and they got it.
Outstanding play there all the way around. Jess Todd didn't get the pitch where he wanted. Sellers was able to hit that ball into left field. And watch the play here by left fielder Weglars. We've already seen his arm once. He comes in, he feels that ball off to the side. Now here's what he does, Scott. Notice how he dips that shoulder, comes over the top, keeps it down. Great play by Santana here. Seals him off the plate, tags him, he's way out. That's a great play right there. Nick Weglars, first game in Huntington Park, 2 assists, left fielder.
1 at second base, now 1 at the plate. Santana did not apply the two-handed tag, so I thought for a minute, because Tracy's a big guy, that he might be able to knock that ball out of there, but Santana held on. Runners are at second and third with 2 down. Paul Hoover, the catcher, is the batter. He's 0 for 4. Cuts on the first pitch and misses, and once again, this crowd making some noise, getting behind the home team, trying to root Jess Todd through this 11th inning.
Well, good base running by Lehigh Valley there as Mazza moved up to third and Sellers moved up to second as the ball came all the way to the plate. That's exactly what they have to do, but great job by the Clippers. And you talked about Carlos Santana. It shows how strong he is, Scott. He was able to hold on to the ball even with the one-handed tag.
Andy Tracy realized the throw had beat him and was going to try and knock it free. Tracy's 6'3", 240. Carlos Santana did a nice job of applying the tag and then avoiding most of the contact. He almost lost his footing there at the end. He had to fight to keep his balance. He stayed upright, and our plate umpire Dan Bellino called Tracy out to keep the game tied at 2. And there's a one-hopper back to the mound. Jess Todd gets out of it. How about that? Nick Weglars throwing out Andy Tracy at the plate. And we are tied at 2 as we go to the bottom of the 11th inning here in Columbus. They're having a good time here at Huntington Park, and what a game it's been. We're tied at 2. The Clippers got 2 runs back in the 5th inning, and it's been tied ever since. Lehigh Valley with a great opportunity in the top of this inning, but Weglars, as you see here from left field, throwing out Andy Tracy at the plate. Santana applying that one-handed tag and then fighting to stay upright, checking out the other runners on the base pass. What a play.
Great play all around by the Clippers there, and a great punch out by home plate umpire Dan Bellino. I'm sure Andy Tracy is feeling that. Did you notice he had to slide right on top of that bat? On deck hitter didn't get out there in time. Who was that? Looks like Paul Hoover didn't get out there in time to move the bat, and he had to slide through it. Great throw by Weglars.
Brian Bixler shows bunt, but fouls it back. Bixler trying to bunt for a hit against Brian Gordon, who stays on for another inning. It is Bixler, Santana, and Hodges, 2, 3, and 4, due up in the inning for the Clippers. 10 hits for Lehigh Valley, 7 for Columbus. The Clippers have committed the game's only error. Gordon delivers, and Bixler taps this one foul right at home plate, 0-2.
Off the foot again. We've seen that so many times as Bixler flexes that left leg.
Brian Bixler, the pride of Sandusky, Ohio, played at Eastern Michigan. So he's a Mid-American Conference rival of Andy Tracy's. Bixler was all MAC, playing for the Eastern Michigan Eagles during his collegiate career. Batting .275 at the moment, couple of home runs, 13 runs batted in. 2 fly balls and 2 ground balls for Bixler so far, no hits. Takes down and away, 1-2 the count. Bixler, the 27-year-old, had been molded into a super utility type player with Pittsburgh, playing just about everywhere in the infield, and then started to play in center field. Here with the Clippers, we've seen him in the outfield just a couple of times. Mostly he's been at second and at short, and then also over at third base. Brian Busher went on the shelf with some tightness in his back, and so they moved Bixler over to play the hot corner. He ended up getting 11 games at third base. Here's a pop-up towards right. Will it be down? It is, in fair territory. Bixler makes the turn, he'll hold. It'll be a leadoff single, and Brian Bixler will overcome the offer. In his 5th at bat of the night, he comes up with a hit.
Now sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, and he was there as that ball drops just inside the line. Good effort by the first baseman Sellers there, and you see him wheel and throw the ball. Good job also by the catcher Paul Hoover running down behind him, so Bixler couldn't make a real big turn. It's only the second time, Scott, it looks like second time the Clippers have had the leadoff hitter in 11 innings. Or third time.
Third time, yep.
10th inning they had it, and of course couldn't get the runner over. Brian Busher bunted into a fielder's choice.
Yeah, Jimenez had a leadoff single in the 7th.
My guess is this hitter's not going to be bunting.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. Mike Sarbaugh, when the situation dictates, will play a little small ball, but with Carlos Santana at the plate,
No.
I think you let him take his hacks, because you know one swing of the bat could end the whole thing. Here's a throw over to first, and Bixler dives in. Now, Brian Bixler's a little bit of a threat over there. He only has 3 stolen bases on the year, but he was part of an Indianapolis Indians team when he was in the Pittsburgh organization that ran a lot, and he was part of that.
Right, he has pretty good speed, but he's also a smart base runner. He'll pick the right pitch. He's able to read the moves of the pitchers. Oftentimes you'll see a pitcher in this situation throw over just to see if the hitter is going to square around and give it away early, but of course we've already talked about Santana's not going to be bunting in this situation. I would not be surprised though if Bixler gets a pitch in this at-bat to take off, especially with the Clippers ahead and Santana ahead 1-0 in the count.
Bixler has stolen as many as 28 bases in a year, and as you said, he's a smart runner, and with a righty up there instead of a lefty, it makes things a little easier on these Clippers base runners as Santana takes inside. We'll get another look at that one.
Yeah, it is. Look at that. You notice Paul Hoover, the catcher, shifts over to catch that pitch. A lot of time those subtleties, the fans who are roaring, they don't see that. Of course, they were excited that he called that a ball. They thought maybe that was going to be a strike. 2-0, good hit and count here for Santana.
Carlos is 1 for 4 tonight. His only hit was back in the 1st inning, which seems like an eternity ago now. Here's a snap throw down to first. Bixler gets back. That throw almost ended up down in the Columbus bullpen. Hoover threw it wide of first base, and Sellers was able to track it down over there.
You don't often see a catcher throwing down to first base with a left-handed hitter simply because he screened. That was a design play there. He was going to go no matter what the result of that pitch was. Now it's 3-0. I'm sure that Carlos Santana is going to be turned loose here. If he gets a pitch that he can hit, turn on it and get us out of here. It looks like fastball coming from Gordon.
A 3-0 fastball to Santana, and it is in there for a strike. Now, Carlos has the green light to swing on 3-0, and so do several other Clippers, especially the guys that hit right in the heart of the order, but oftentimes you'll see a batter, even if he has the green light, he won't use it on 3-0.
No, and it has to be a pitch that's right down the middle, something that he can turn on and hit into the gap or hit over the fence. And of course there's a throw over to first. Bixler back in, fans are booing that, but of course that pitch was not a good pitch. It was a strike, but it wasn't a good pitch to hit. It was running away.
And the last thing you want to do is meekly ground out on a 3-0 pitch when you could have seen something better later in the at-bat.
Oh, most definitely. That drives managers and coaches crazy.
Here's Gordon with a 3-1 pitch for Santana. Fouled it back. He liked what he saw there, but couldn't square it up. I remember when the Clippers were with the Washington Nationals a couple of years ago. John Stearns was our manager. It was 2007. We had a batter at the plate on a 3-0 count, swung at a less than perfect pitch in a key situation in the game, popped it straight up in the infield. John Stearns hung his head over at third base, coaching over there, like somebody had kicked his dog.
He said, "Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?" Santana's going to get his hacks here. Let's see if Bixler goes over at first base. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Even though there's nobody out, you want to try to get the runner moving here.
Here comes Hoover out to talk to Gordon, and the crowd will boo that as well.
Of course,
they are a fiery bunch at Huntington Park tonight. You got to love it.
They're ready to get home, Scott. They came to see some baseball. 11 innings. They definitely want the home club to win, but they want them to win right now.
Hoover back behind the dish.
Santana on the season, coming into the game, 150 at-bats. He only struck out 29 times, so this could be a good situation to go. Probably won't see us strike him out, throw him out.
He went down looking on a fastball earlier tonight, which is a rarity. There's a throw over to first, and Bixler is back in. Well, Carlos Santana has not only swung the bat well when there's nobody on base, he's swung it well with guys on base, with runners in scoring position. He's a .362 batter with runners on base, and when somebody's in scoring position, he's .404.
That's just concentration right there. He doesn't give away at-bats when he has opportunities to drive runners in.
The 3-2, breaking ball, swing and a miss, and the throw down, not in time to get Bixler. So a big stolen base there by the Clippers shortstop. So even though Santana is indeed a strikeout victim, with that swing, he may have helped
you
Bixler.
see the curveball here, and that's what helped Bixler, is that breaking ball off speed just a little bit. And boy, I tell you what, Melvin Doherty could argue that he got Bixler before Bixler was able to touch the bag, but now he's in scoring position with only 1 away.
Looked like he tagged him on the left hamstring as Bixler was diving in. The question is, did Bixler get his hands in there before the tag? Here's Wes Hodges, 0 for 4 tonight. A pride of Georgia Tech, looking to do some damage here in the 11th inning for the home team. First pitch from Gordon, hit in the air towards right field, but Mayberry is right there. Bixler will have to get back, and he is not going anywhere. 2 down.
All right, this sets it up right here, Scott. Man on second, 2 away. He doesn't have to worry about a line drive or a fly ball dropping in. All Nick Weglars has to do here is get a base hit, and Bixler scores to win the ball game.
Listen, Nick Weglars has done some good things tonight defensively, but what he does not have here in his Huntington Park debut is a hit. He is 0 for 3 on the night, and he has been a strikeout victim on 3 occasions. Does have a walk to his credit, so he's been on base once, but a base knock here could make him the hero.
Well, and he's really searching to do something. You see that 3 strikeouts and a base on balls, but remember, he got picked off.
Yes, he did.
Right after that. So he really has not offensively, which is what the Clippers and the Cleveland organization are looking for him to do, is to really hit the baseball. Hadn't done that, but defensively he has the 2 big assists.
Gordon's first pitch is a strike. Weglars was taking regardless on that one. What Weglars does give you is another big-bodied power hitter a la Shelley Duncan, who started the year in this lineup, a guy that demands the respect of the opposing pitcher, because you know if you hang one, he'll crush it.
Yeah, he has that potential.
The 0-1 pitch down and inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. If Weglars reaches and Bixler does not score, Chris Jimenez would bat next. He's waiting on deck. Jimenez tonight does have a hit. 3 hits for Jordan Brown. His night is done. They ran for him. Busher, Rodriguez, Bixler, Santana, and Jimenez with 1 hit apiece. 8 hits for Columbus, 10 for Lehigh Valley, and Weglars lines it into center. Rich Thompson will scoop it up. Here comes Bixler, and he is going to score the winning run. Nick Weglars, in his Huntington Park debut, throws out Andy Tracy in the top half of the inning when Lehigh Valley tried to take the lead, and then in the bottom half, he delivers the game-winning hit. He is being mobbed by his new teammates here in Columbus, and the Clippers will win it 3-2 in 11.
Boy, what a Huntington Park debut. Fastball out over the middle. Weglars turns on it. You see a great job by center fielder Rich Thompson coming up and making the play close at the plate. But we said it, with 2 away, Bixler is going as soon as that ball is hit. He's got nothing on his mind but scoring the run, getting the game over. There he slides in safely. Happy Columbus Clippers.
Nick Weglars needed his first hit here at Huntington Park, and he gets it here in the 11th inning as the Clippers score a 3-2 victory. And the Clippers have taken the first game of this 4-game series against Lehigh Valley. They open up the homestand in winning fashion. Weglars, the 22-year-old from Stevensville, Ontario, joined the Clippers during the road trip. Got a couple of games under his belt during the Columbus series at Charlotte. And he will grab a well-deserved drink of Gatorade as he and his teammates celebrate a win this evening in front of a crowd of just over 9,000 here on this Thursday night.